It works. Well, you know, fantasy, medieval, and all that fun stuff. It's always about, um, makes you wonder how dirty things really were back then. If everybody was dirty, would you even know the difference? I guess.
Yes. It's why the Englishmen hated the Danes, because their women kept being swooned by their cleanliness.
These men don't smell like shit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
These
so
ones smell
it's
less like testicles than ours.
so it's a thing. It's a thing. It's good to know. Good to know. I was concerned cleanliness
This
was
man's
not a
cock
thing.
does not smell like Vermunda cheese.
I love it when I turn off the mute without telling anybody. It's
Hey,
pleasurable. Happy Sunday, all. We are all drinking our variety of pirate beverage. I believe me and Gatharn are partaking. Well, I'm partaking of the brew. I believe Gatharn is partaking of the grog. Jin is
Modified
probably drinking mulled wine with a pink lotus in it, would be my guess. I have no idea what Omni's drinking. Probably straight up moonshine through a straw or water. Although it's hard to tell the difference. They're both clear drinks.
don't give it away, dude. Come on.
And of course,
And we all know what Medi's drinking.
blood. Pure.
If you like pina coladas.
And children named Bob.
Wait, no, I actually have his name written down.
Oh, I know you do. I know you do.
Oh, I have it written down. I was just making a song.
It's only a matter of time before you end up on a ship with a similar name. And then suddenly you have to explain to the surviving parentage what happened to their young son.
Why would I explain that?
Travis. Yeah, the dude needed to die. His name was Travis.
Willingham.
Well, he had like 2 first names. Travis Sebastian. No last name. You give him one more first name. Boom. Instant assassin / serial killer.
I don't
John Wayne Gacy.
I don't know if that's correct as
John Wilkes Booth.
to a farm to be a farmer. Yes, I'm stalling for time, folks. Cesare just got off of work.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, Dubtech. Cesare just got off of work, so he's getting his audio sorted out. Give him a couple minutes and just kind of chat with all of you. I mean, believe it or not, we're actually on time for almost like the second
That
time
doesn't
in a
happen.
row, and that just doesn't happen. So, and Omni still can't be heard. Still can't hear his mic.
That's because I was smart and muted it, but then I forgot.
Then you forgot that you were smart and muted it.
Yeah. It's normally my fault when we're late anyways, so it's okay.
Oh my God. So I was playing with building my own music bot today. Vince, you'd be proud of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I got it all to work, almost all of it to work. But when I paste the token in the text file and then run the feed program that's supposed to feed the audio pipe to the bot, it says no token found. And no matter how many times I regenerated the token, redid everything, saved the file, I could not get the goddamn bot to work. Or I couldn't get the token to save. It just constantly, every single time I tried to launch the audio pipe, it would just say token not found. I'm just like,
Crazy idea. Have you tried asking nicely?
the bot or the coding gods or...
Yes.
Either or.
Oh, well, begging came to mind. I guess I could try asking nicely, but begging
Have you
definitely.
sacrificed a small child yet?
With
To
my
you?
record, well, if you live in the state of Texas, I think I've sacrificed at least 12 billion small children.
No, moving right along. Oh, ho, ho, ho.
Hundreds.
I
Um,
sacrificed like a
billions.
handful earlier today.
That's okay. Y'all nasty.
Hundreds
Y'all need
and
Jesus.
hundreds of billions. The look on Cesare's face is, I gotta get a snapshot of that real quick. It's great.
Children go down the hole.
This is my judging face.
Way into the hole.
Yes, I now have a copy of your judging face. And I plan on using it exclusively for those that want to be judged. Because that's what judging
you-
faces
you-
are for.
The new TTRPG avatar right there.
Yeah.
I'm turning into like a little meme format for our chat. Chez is
God.
judging you.
Next thing you know, it's one of the emotes that pops up. I don't know how Twitch works. I don't know how these things are all programmed. It's magic to me when all this stuff happens. But
There you go. I put it in chat for everybody.
oh no,
Oh yeah.
That is a cool face. That's a meme. Anybody ready to write up a meme? That is a good image to run with right there. And there's plenty of blue space off to the
Yeah, you can
left,
put the
right?
text
And you
over
just
here,
put
yeah.
it right there. That's perfect. When your DM says that he's killed trillions of children, you get the face. When one of your players says, I put a straw in their neck and I keep them for a lunchbox drink.
I have literally never said that. I don't know why you keep thinking I'm juice boxing people when that is something you are doing.
when you literally come up with the coolest shit you've ever done in D&D, and your DM's like, no.
I don't think I said no.
No, you didn't. You just said, magic missile.
And that was
thing,
literally
Jason. Same thing.
And that was literally like one of the like low level slots that he had left open.
Yeah, that's all I
Because
could do. We're
since
talking about a different game.
Yeah,
We're
but-
in Debtors Gambit.
But that's okay because warlocks are limited on their spell slots, so it's like you got to get creative with those characters.
And that's I actually really like that and appreciate it because it really pushes the like your mentality and your creative inspiration of what you can kind of like figure out what to do. The RP comes through strong.
Yes, it does. It does make it a little bit more interesting. That is true. Oh my god. Oh my god, we are what episode are we on? We're on session 13.
Dun dun dun.
And if you tune in next Sunday afternoon, we will have a different time slot for next Sunday afternoon. We will be playing a one-shot with this group, and I get to be a player again. Oh my
I get
God.
to be a paladin.
I get to be a player. I get to play Rumblebelly. I miss Rumblebelly. He was so much fun. His little words of wisdom, but then he wipes his ass with a piece of
It
poison
was
oak.
so good.
Yeah.
I loved it. You're just like, what? Where did that come from? No, he's
And
he's
it's
cool.
going to be a
He's
one-shot run by our one and only Vince, who plays Jin in our Sunday
Vince.
nights. Sometimes you'll know him as the Lemon and Lime singer, backup singer, as they say. Hey,
He's not the backup singer. He's the lead singer for sure.
hey, everybody!
He's the
Down
backup singer
below
for
is
himself.
everything you need to know about this goofy group. Join our Discord. If you join our Discord every week, I just reset the channels today. Roll for dice. This week's dice are fire elemental dice. So be sure to check those out. We also give away miniatures. It's my way of supporting the dice goblins as well as the storytellers that need help with miniatures. If you're lucky enough to either have a battle cam or playing live games with family, friends, or complete strangers who wander in to play an exciting game of D&D. You can also watch us through Discord or watch us through Twitch. It's up to you. There's a couple shows that can only be viewed through Twitch, but some of our other shows, our Monday show, our Tuesday show, our Wednesday show, our Alt Thursday one-shot show, and then those shows are all live for our for our Discord, and then our Friday and Sunday show is kind of our exclusive, more Twitch crowd. So if you're following us on Twitch, we definitely appreciate it when you watch us here. Every little bit helps. So if you can afford Prime, or this is a good month to help us by subscribing, as it's September, we get the full benefit, but it's 20% off to you if you subscribe. Ooh, thank you for the cookie. Is it already outside waiting for me, or?
No, I'm just really happy because it's almost as big as my head.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a big cookie. But hey, down below the links of all of our family and creators. And speaking of family, before we do our recap, Shannon, what do we got going on in your world?
Hi, friends. First of all, I'm the type of person that it looks like I'm not paying attention to a game, but sometimes I need to do stuff with my hands to help me focus.
I hear
So I
you.
promise I'm listening to everything that he is saying, even though I look like I'm super not. What do I have going on right now? Obligo del Diablo just dropped a new episode, a part 1 of 2 of Your Innocent When You Dream. Also, the Section 6 trailer is out there into the universe, which is a second game that has James as our storyteller. For that one, we're a bunch of technocrats doing technocrat things. You can look forward to a second campaign. Same bat streaming area, different bat streaming times. We're hoping to do alternate weeks between Obligo del Diablo and Section 6. And also, in case you didn't know, Tuesdays, we live stream Season 3. We keep spoilers out. There might be a character that pops up and we're like, oh my god, I know that guy, but don't mention how we know them. That might have recently happened. But yeah, our Twitch is the Odd Troop, or I think it's just Odd Troop, which is here on Twitch, obviously.
Give
to catch Season 3.
And don't forget to give Uncanny Pros a quick shout out.
Yep, I was getting to that part. I was just making sure that I said all the things because I forgot that I not mentioned Season 3 is being live streamed.
Oh yeah,
So, hey.
yeah.
Uncanny Pros. If you like Dungeons and Dragons content, which I assume you do because you're here. Candy Pros is another 5th edition stream that also happens on Tuesdays, so you have to pick a favorite. It's just how it works.
Yeah.
That is content coming from GUI Cube, who is a third-party publisher, and that is a group I'm going to Gen Con with.
I'm so jealous. I'm so jelly.
I am extremely nervous because DMV and bureaucracy, am I right? Didn't tell me it was going to take 3 weeks to ship my real ID. So, really hoping I can still get on an airplane.
Do you have a passport?
No.
Oh yeah, irony.
You can. I just flew to Napa to Napa.
Yeah, you have till
an old ID.
Yeah, you have till October. I think it's the end of October.
No, actually, it's extended till 2023.
Oh,
Here's the thing. I went to get a passport and they took my driver's license and I didn't get the passport nor my driver's license back. So, it's good times.
Are you wanted by the federales? I mean, are you?
No, I'm just, I talked to the TSA.
Well, first of all, that was a really quick no. So yes, you are wanted. Or obviously. I'm guessing high stakes airline hijacking and possibly doing something inappropriate to the airline food. So yeah,
that's probably some piracy, maybe a little racketeering. Yeah. I don't know what that is, but I think it involves tennis.
Racketeering.
Sure. No, actually, it was racketeering for tennis is a felony. Mine was only a misdemeanor because it was badminton.
Well, I mean, honestly, those badminton matches, the pros are intense. Those are super fast and scary.
Oh my God! By all means.
Anyway,
puns with advantage. Puns with advantage. This is exceptional.
Wait. Do we get inspiration for pre-game shenanigans?
No, you get disadvantage. Omni, what do you got going on these days?
Well, I was just up in Idlewild, California playing music, which was lovely because I haven't done much of that since the pandemic happened. So, yay, my fingers are a little crusty and kind of sort of bleeding. Well, not anymore, but they were. I put new strings on my guitars last night. It was lovely. Aside from that, getting back to the nerd stuff. Actually, that is nerd stuff because band geeks. Well, geek nerd.
Whatever. Are the original media nerds. Gerds.
Right?
Yeah.
Gerds. The
Gerds.
Gerds. I am part of the General Adventuring Company, which is a D&D 5e podcast and video production that you can catch on YouTube as well as Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Podbean, Spotify, Apple, Google, all of the podcast platforms. I get to play a broody Dragonborn Ranger Rogue, and it's a lot of fun. Yeah, I think we just are about to release episode 10
I think so, yeah.
on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
y'all,
fun.
look.
Check it out.
I know that I have a podcast and I just shout out podcasting things, but if you can catch the video production, please do. It's so worth it.
Yeah. Video's always fun. You can see the
Video's
people's
good.
face. You get to see the people's faces and the you
And
know.
they clearly put a lot of work into it, and it's really good.
Yeah.
Speaking of faces, I now have to introduce myself as, hi, I'm Cesare Orlando, and despite what my face might look like, I really enjoy playing Dungeons and Dragons. Because with the editing, a lot of like the little in-between parts gets cut out, and like my character is very broody, and he literally was like disformed, like his eye was burned, so he's in physically a lot of pain, and I'm very much a method actor, so I'm like scowling in a lot of the
Yeah,
there have
I
been
noticed.
comments.
That-
There's comments where they're like, Ches doesn't look like he's having fun.
Yeah. Why is
I'm
Ches?
trying to be an actor. Leave me alone.
So, oh,
So
God,
I need to work
had a
on my
pun.
face.
I had a pun and I lost it. I'm so
Aw.
sad.
I'm sorry.
I guess you
hope
need to
you
be
find
more punctual next time.
Shut your mouth.
And Gatharn, the rockets still fly with glee.
Yes. Yes, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
Cool. And Jin, the male, makes it, hopefully.
On occasion.
On occasion. That
Just
is
don't walk
so
up to your
US.
mailman and ask where your mail is, and if you don't provide a tracking number, go fuck yourself. Because guess what?
That
I'm not
is fair.
telepathic.
That is fair.
Excuse
If
me,
your
I
go-to answer should just be
I
somewhere.
ordered cheese last Christmas. I still not gotten it. Can you help me
Okay,
find my
so-
cheese?
Legit though, you delivery people of all varieties, people that handle mail, you do a very difficult job, and I respect it.
Don't
But the
patronize me.
mailman said that, like, the little thing that he left said left with a neighbor. It was in the mailbox,
What was
in
your-
our mailbox.
Okay.
I
Maybe
don't understand why they said left with a neighbor on a very expensive item while I wasn't home.
Did the
and I
neighbor-
panicked?
did the neighbor
Probably 'cause
did the
you-
neighbor put it in the mailbox, or did the neighbor tell you?
No,
No. Oh
it
my
was
god, it's
delivered
funny.
to our mailbox, but it said, I don't know.
And I
You
guarantee
wearing bracers?
That I'm making right now. Yes.
Ah.
you
Amazing.
larper. You larper.
Are those for Helona?
Well, I might use them for Helena, but they are for Gen Con.
Yeah, I was gonna say
They
she's probably
are
making
for
Jen-
Shannon.
They are for Shannon. So,
Vince, are the
oh yeah,
does
the
I have to know?
minis. Did the mini?
the maxis? Are you kidding? Or is this? I don't know like what the actual scale of them are, but the way that they seemed, they look like they were like this big. Did they come in, Mr. Mailman? Did they come in the mail?
No,
No.
they probably won't ship till the 7th, so I'm hopefully get them by Friday, and then I'll just spend all Friday and Saturday painting.
Awesome. Well, you should get caught up on all your Twitch shows and Netflix binging. That'll keep you focused. I promise.
Get my hand on some Adderall.
My hands on some Adderall, some mainline caffeine. Run it through a tube directly to the backside of your knees.
I just started taking Concerta, and I don't know if it works, but I've been able to do things for the past few days, so that's good.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah, get those chemicals back in balance. Those look really cool, Shannon.
Back
I'm
in
loving
balance.
Damn, yeah, it turned out pretty good. I'm pretty excited. Anyway,
Possibly in balance for the first time ever.
it. Well, yeah, there's that. So, now that all the shenanigans has been discussed and all the abouts,
if you stuck around through this entire intro, bless your freaking heart.
Yeah.
Like, not in
yeah.
the sarcastic, like left-handed compliment way. Like, we love you.
Like not southern.
Yes, not the southern way where you're actually making fun of the person, but
Bless your heart.
thank you.
So, where we last left off during our previous session, the team had, well, went on a little shopping trip, had made the mistake of either, well, playing a joke or not playing a joke. We're not really sure what Jin's purpose there was. Actually, inadvertently, almost played directly in the hands of a familiar that had attempted to abscond with Medi. Recognizing the near trap, you guys managed to deal with the individual known as Banus, and triggered both an investigation.
Barris.
Barris. Oh, that's why that's underscored.
You said Banus, and
Yeah.
the
Bad.
rhyming mind of my no. I was like, it
That
can't be
ain't
that.
it.
There
That
it
was not
is.
it.
Yeah,
Name
my,
was
Dang.
penis.
I would have made way too many penis or anus jokes.
after being sent to Barris by Alim from the jeweler and money exchanger, the team had managed to defend themselves and deal with this particular individual, but then this got them a one-on-one meeting with Tharivol. As usual, Gatharn had wandered off to the alchemical shroom to do some purchases, get a little high, have a little fun. This, however, turned into a very lengthy conversation about politics, conspiracies, and the influence of not only Thorvald, the guild master, and the one that's kind of in charge of all the minor guilds as well, all of them vying for the valuable contracts of seasonal work all up and down the Menagerie Coast. But it would seem he's also the main sponsor of a little secret get-together that happens once a year for 7 days called the Revels, where everything is handed out and doled out to all the appropriate individuals. However, it seems that Thorvald has become obsessed with obtaining Copper Joe's compass. He is convinced that you have it. He is pissed that you didn't give it to him. But you managed to make your way out of this meeting relatively unscathed, other than a fair warning of if you have to stand before Thorvald again, it could be rather dangerous. At the last minute, Gatharn was also brought to this meeting. However, this afforded Captain Raylene the opportunity to spend the afternoon with Gatharn and keep him busy. But Gatharn found some interesting things in Captain Raylene's cabin that kind of prompted some conversation about the compass as well. The team eventually continued to do some more shopping and then investigated the blacksmithy where Barnes was being an operative, but he was also being an operative for Thorvald. This created some interesting conjecture. However, during the investigation, it seemed that the guards on duty were charmed or glamored. Callista would have laughed too. God, I love you, Shannon. It was Medi's use of invisibility and following this mysterious investigator down into the catacombs of this massively hollowed out remains of an ancient dragon turtle, that she watched a conversation between a very decrepit, mysterious individual who was conversing with the other individual, forcing that individual to reveal their true lich-like self, and giving us some insights into some of the new players that might be going on. Also, it afforded Omni the opportunity to eventually have a conversation with the Hawk and try to sort out some intrigue and possible doings going on. It was during this conversation that Omni realized the Hawk knew quite a bit about the daily activity of the team. The team all eventually made it back to the Black Eye. And once at the Black Eye, it was Omni who detected the scry effect that was hovering above them, and then it dispelled once detected. And I believe we are now back at the Black Eye. As where we last left off, a particular Goliath came laughing and walking over to the four of you. And I think we're on the afternoon of the third day of the Revels, correct? Or are we in the evening of the third day? Right? Yeah. Second or third day? Gatharn, you usually take good notes. Second day. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. We did
So
a
much
lot
has
of stuff that
happened.
first day.
Yeah.
And we did a lot of stuff in the morning of the second day. We're actually only about mid-afternoon.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was mid-afternoon, but
Because these bastards finally went and got breakfast without me.
yeah.
You were high.
And I was getting late.
Also, you got laid, so you're welcome.
Yeah. The Goliath, brackish Longbrow, comes over to the four of you. So, what are we doing today? And that's where we last left off.
Yeah, and I was yelling about there's a lich.
I just found out that we actually own the Black Eye.
Get the ship ready to sail.
Excuse me, but we don't really have a full crew yet. I've got, I've got a handful of people, but I don't have enough.
How much more do you need?
Well, I mean, it's a small sloop. I need at least 5 more crew. I've got 3. Myself.
Can you handle it?
If I
Can
had a
recruit?
budget, well, I mean, I don't have enough coin to hire. I'd probably
I
need
tossed
it.
them 100 gold.
Yeah, this will definitely do it. Tucks it into his leather pouch and immediately goes running down the gangway and heading off into.
High quality crew members.
He kind of goes like that as he's running off the
Where's the
wharf.
guns?
Also, make sure we can trust them.
What Medi said.
See,
Boom, boom, cannons.
boom, boom cannons. Jason, the way you described it in the recap, I feel like Thorvald, because he cast truth like spell and all that stuff, and he didn't pick up on anything. I feel like he kind of trusts us now. I think we're kind of good. Like, he obviously doesn't like us, but I think he's kind of off of our trail.
I mean, that's totally up to you how you want to interpret the outcome of what happened with Thorvald. I mean, what you've at least by this point understand from a standpoint of what Thorvald represents. I mean, he represents the.
To see.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I mean, you've gleaned quite a bit of information. I'll see how you roll insight, and based on that, we'll see how much I can deliver to you from an informational standpoint, especially after that both intense meeting with Thorvald and then this very intense meeting that you had with the Hawk.
17.
17. Clearly, Thorvald is obsessed with the compass. He has the flag, and now he wants the compass. Clearly, he has plans. Clearly, the Hawk and Thorvald are not allies. These emotions are playing out. But there's something else here that you're not picking up on. There's definitely an underlying current of influence that is...
Current. Nice.
I know. That
That's
is
it.
kind of like playing out amongst all the different players of this particular situation.
I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with the giant creature that the Lich was talking to, as if it was the boss of a Lich or something. I don't. Just saying.
So
What
where's
is
the other 3
Lycan?
crew members?
What does Lycan have to do with anything right now?
You're Dark Jin right now. You're PM Jin.
Your PM Jim.
You don't know
You're
that.
supposed to be the smart one.
You don't know that.
I do. Because you don't act like an idiot. You're much more of an asshole in like a legitimate way, but You're not
Yeah,
an
I'm
idiot.
gonna go ahead and go take a nap. See you clowns in an hour.
That was actually a compliment. I don't know if
That was being complimentary.
yeah, that was Medi's form of like flattery.
I don't say
That's
nice
why
things
I
to
didn't just
people.
stab her in the kidney, though.
I'm
I'm gonna go take.
inspecting the
I
boat.
will
I'm
not see you
immediately
try.
just.
That is
Also,
fair. That is fair.
Lich, not liken. It is a
Can we
really
do
bad...
anything about it right now?
Can you
Yes.
hear
And
me
I'm
out?
not gonna worry about it. And then Jin's
We
gonna
can't.
hold his pretty necklace, his brand new necklace, cast two casts of Dimension Door into it, and he's gonna go take a nap.
Oh my god.
Medi, are you referring to the hooded figure that you were tailing? when you left?
Gatharn, go ahead and give me an investigation check.
They were
Very
a
much so.
lich.
They were a lich, and then they turned into a child briefly as a disguise, and then they went and had a conversation with this big bad, clearly reeked of evil sort of guy. Smelled very familiar. And he was saying about
Jin's at the top of the gangplank. He's like, what do you mean by familiar, though? This story's getting juicy. Okay, you've piqued my interest.
the evilness smelled familiar. Anyway,
What do you mean, like the evilness smells like an evil you've encountered before?
yes.
You're not as boring as I thought you were.
See,
I'm
look at
so
this.
glad.
Compliments. Everybody's complimenting each other. This is a good day.
I'm glad that I could provide entertainment for you, Jin.
That's the least you could do. Maybe I can go into the stores and get you 2 symbols, and you just up and down
I mean,
the gameplay.
We normally depend on Gatharn for the entertainment, but this is good too.
And you know what,
Thanks.
Gatharn? I am so sorry that we neglected to tell you. I feel you're a crucial part of our crew. Yes, the black eye is now ours. I would like to welcome you into the captain, which is Omni, would like to welcome you with wide open arms. Captain, grant him a position upon your beautiful ship.
Gatharn, what'd you get for your investigation check?
6.
Anything,
6.
just give him
As
anything.
far as you're concerned, it looks like a normal 2-deck sloop, relatively small, not quite as big as the other ships. Single-masted. It's in decent shape. It could definitely use some repairs. It's nothing extraordinary and nothing horrendous. It's a nice ship.
Wait,
Any of the
what
crew
were you
members
doing?
around?
There's the other Goliath, and there's at least one other orc.
Taking
the orc, that
stock.
sounds like a girl now.
Well, no, there was 2 orcs.
Oh.
Well, some didn't stay.
Yeah.
That's fair. Gatharn, after you went to the drugstore, what else happened? What was going on? What did you do all morning?
I took a cap from Mary.
How was that?
I saw pixies.
Okay. When we were walking by,
Might
we
have
thought
called
maybe
for my
that was what was gonna
godfather.
happen.
No, I definitely called for my godfather. So if those pixies are real, I might have inadvertently sent a message to my godfather. Then I bought a bunch of potions
Oh.
after I had lots of sex.
Quite a productive morning.
That you got a lot accomplished. Well done.
I am very proud of you.
Can I do
Oh my
a
goodness.
perception check to see if there are any like bite marks on Gatharn?
Sure.
Natural one. I see
I'm
nothing.
well dressed right now. I'm wearing a shirt, collar's up, pants are on.
It's weird.
I know.
Yeah, how are you gonna get naked within 6 seconds with all these clothes
I'm not
on?
planning on fighting.
Oh, this would be the perfect time to call him the G word.
All
How
right.
close am I to Jin?
Oh, you're kind of
I'm on the top of the ship.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are spread out a bit because Gatharn, you started kind of wandering around and kind of checking out the ship. I mean, at this point, you're all spread out about 20 feet apart from each other, just like having conversation with each other. The one orc looks up to hear the four of you talking amongst each other and goes back to repairing the sail.
Oh, I'll go over there, talk to the orc.
What do you want?
Any woodwork that needs to be done?
Look at this place. Plenty.
I look at Omni. He's like, do we need this one?
Pretty sure we need all that we can get right now.
So don't kill him.
Don't worry. The really good ones are taking the primo contracts. I'm loyal to Longbrow. I'll stay on board. I'll finish out my term.
To who? Longbrow?
Yeah, the Goliath.
I thought that was Brackish.
His name is
They all look the
Brackish.
same.
Well, his name's Brackish Longbrow.
Oh,
Your
why
name's
would you?
just-
Why would
that's
you
clever.
try to confuse
Because
me
he's
on
got
purpose?
like one big unibrow.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah. The orc is right. That's what. Yeah, why we call him that. Gathard, you recognize that this is the one that you got in the jewels.
Your voice has returned to normal.
Yeah, took a while.
Any bad blood between you and the
No, it's a good fight. Why would there be bad blood when it's a good fight?
I don't know.
My name's
name's
fair. It was a clean blow.
My name's Cog, by the way.
Cog,
Oh.
like cog in the machine.
Cog. Karg. You know.
Cog.
Karg. Yeah.
Where's the other Goliath at?
The other one down below, I think, working on the hull. That's Brackish's mate. He goes by the name of Nala. Nala Skywatcher.
Mate as in
Yeah.
friend, or mate as in domestic partners, or
I imagine they have a relationship.
yeah, but okay. I'm just gonna take out my carpenter's tools and just walk around the ship, see
Okay.
whatever needs to
Give
be
me an
done.
investigation check as you begin to kind of like focus on the overall condition of the ship. While you're doing that, Jin, Gatharn, Omni, Medi, what the three of you want to do at this point? Karg kind of goes back to working on the sail.
Did you say Karg was a half orc or an orc?
Orc.
Orc, and he
Orc.
is a bosun.
He's Swabby.
Fixer?
He's a Swabby.
Swabby.
Yeah.
18 for my investigation check.
Okay. The deck itself has some issues that could use some replacement. Maybe about 50 gold worth of planking is required. A lot of the railings are kind of deteriorated and loose, so maybe another 100 gold in lumber to deal with that. The main mast is surprisingly in decent shape as you kind of examine it. But as you kind of wander around this deck, it's weathered. You're looking at probably another 45 gold in additional materials to kind of reseal everything up here and prevent more weather damage. You're looking at about a week's worth of work, probably. By yourself, at least.
Yeah. Is it work that I figure I can do out on the open sea?
Most of it, yeah, as long as the weather holds.
Karg.
Yeah.
If I give you some money, can you go get the materials necessary to put the ship into ship shape?
Yeah, I could do that for you. I know where to shop for that. Over in the Wharf District, there's some suppliers and purveyors I can work with. One of the nice things about the Revels, you don't have to worry about crime as much.
With the
Quickly, okay?
Right.
I give him 200 gold pieces,
Okay.
and here's another 50 for you to get something for the three of you. It's just drinks or whatever else you need to.
Well, I mean, we
keep your
do need.
spirits lively.
Are we planning on setting sail soon?
Relatively soon, I suspect.
I mean, the Revels is only 7 days, right?
Well, yeah, it is, but do we have a contract? Do we have a...
Of sorts.
We're working on it,
figuring
yeah.
it out. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I imagine we'll need to collect food and other supplies for being at sea. Nala's making
much-
up a list of things to repair the hull and some of the other equipment and things that he needs as well.
Nala Skywatcher?
Yeah, yeah.
Nala, can you come up on deck, please?
Just a moment. Let me finish my work.
How long's a moment?
About 10 minutes, if you don't mind.
Oh no, go ahead. Take all your time. Take all the
Oh.
time you need. Then
Okay. Who is
I'd rather you do a thorough
Brackish.
job. You know.
Oh, it's kind of yelling up through the hold.
Mm-hmm.
Brackish was quartermaster?
Yeah. Brackish is our quartermaster. Yeah. The captain and first mate you guys took care of.
Yep.
No, who killed the captain? It was so grisly. Lopped off his head and everything.
Yeah.
Ugh.
It's okay. He was an asshole. Not really worried
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
He had his problems.
Mm-hmm.
And Nala would be probably a navigator with a name like Skywatcher?
Yeah.
Okay.
I figure you're
He
a
also
carpenter
is-
as well.
Well, he's kind of a jack of all
Pews.
trades. He's a bit of a bosun, bit of a carpenter. He does excel at navigation. Comes to him naturally.
And
How
what
many
about yourself,
cannons can
Tarv?
we have?
Oh, he slooped up carried cannons. We have a ballista fore and aft, small hand ballista. Really, all we have.
Ball.
You guys ever been in a sea battle before?
We're too
Ship to ship.
fast. Nah, we're too fast for that. Our captain usually dealt in, smuggling. Was his main trade. When you're fast,
What did he like to smuggle? Mm-hmm.
Drugs, contraband, relics. He
Is there any drugs on board now?
No, I don't think so. He
Damn.
hadn't been doing too well these last few months. Came empty-handed to the Revels. Knew that he probably wasn't going to get a good contract. So, well, to be honest with you, we mostly all had a falling out because we heard he had sold the ownership of the Black Eye to the Hawk. But that turned out to be false. We didn't realize it was bullshit, but we thought it was real.
I could see how that would be a betrayal of your trust in him.
A lot of sailors don't like that man.
The Hawk.
Yeah.
Why? Is it because he's a little frou-frou? Just he doesn't embody that sailor's life. and
I really
ideals
don't know
and-
what you mean by frou-frou, but he lives the life without having to actually live the life, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. It
So
does.
he's a nobleman playing a pirate.
Yeah.
private spirit
From
sailoring.
what I hear from the other sailors, he owns about 90% of the fleet, the merchant fleet.
But not us.
No, Captain never sold out. We thought he did, but the asshole that kind of spread that rumor, haven't seen him since. He's made that bit of information. Don't know who that goblin was, but he told us that Captain had sold out. Clearly, he hadn't.
And another just little silly question. Are you married to the name the Black Eye? Because it's under new ownership. We'd like to rename it if we.
Look, man, you pay me, do my job. We get
I
in a
like
scrap, I can assure you, I'll hold my own.
We're best friends
As long
now.
as I'm not fighting him, I'll be fine.
Fighting who?
The little guy over there.
Him?
Garn, do you have tribal tattoos? You do, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Wolfstalker clan.
Clark does
Just
not.
around the nipples. Just two wolves.
Fucking. The fourth wall collapses entirely.
So Karg, of all of the people that are still left from the previous crew, how
Yeah.
many and who are they?
Well, there's Nala, myself, and Brackish. That's it.
Just
It's all
three.
it's all that would stay.
And what were your previous monthly stipends?
Well, we normally sign the contract for an onboarding fee of 10 gold. We normally get 10% take at the end of the contractual agreement. And then, daily expense of rum, food, as well as if we're in port, we're given an additional 10 gold while we're in a port of call. Most of our
Is that
money.
10% split between the rest of the crew? Or you
Yeah,
get
yeah, the
10%
crew
each?
gets 10% of the take, and then we split it based on, our duties on the ship.
That sounds fair.
Inside check. Is he being honest?
Go for it.
Advantage because I'm kind of
Well,
poking.
Thank you, maybe. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's fine. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
you're both questioning him
Because
at
that
an
was
equal
a
pace.
3.
Yeah.
Get it, Chiz.
Mo better. 22.
Slap you across the face, guidance.
I mean, 10% sounds a little high.
Got a
It's
question.
all right. We
Yeah.
want to buy their loyalty, anyways.
So the guy that stashed the weapons for you before you attacked us on our ship, you got any more connections like that?
I don't know who that guy was. Never seen him before. Look, man, past is the past. I get the feeling that the captain was influenced by something else. When we started looking for your friend that made the deal, I don't even really care what the deal was. We found Captain talking to 3 individuals that we didn't recognize.
Were they female?
Yeah, I think they were
Were
elves.
they elves?
Yeah, they were elves.
Yeah, I dealt with one of them.
The sisters.
I don't know who that is, and I
yeah,
don't,
in here.
to be honest with you, I think they encouraged him to do what he did. And as he's about to kind of continue, yeah, they did. And he watches this huge 8-foot-tall Goliath comes out of the hold, heavily scarified and tattooed, wearing very traditional sailor leathers, a huge 2-handed like scimitar cutlass stretched about 4 feet in length on their shoulder, and he walks over up out of the hold. I certainly hope you all got gold, because that hole is shit. I think the captain's been lying to us since the beginning, Cog.
Intentionally
how much-
scarified, or
What's that?
does it
Tribal
is it
scarring
intentionally, or like does it look
Oh,
like
yeah,
there
it's
was a pattern,
intentionally-
or is it just like random?
It's intentionally
It's just-
scarring. It's Raptor
For
Tribe.
aesthetics.
You all recognize it as Goliath Raptor Tribe from the Greylands.
Nala, so how much to get this ship, the whole, basically new?
I mean, I gotta
Essentially.
hire a whole crew. I gotta get a team of 20
Oh.
to replace at
Brackish?
least half of the hold. We're looking at maybe 200-300 good pieces of timber. We're probably looking at redoing some of the ironwork that's down there. The main mast up here is in decent shape, but it travels through down into the main hold. It's kind of broken 3. A good storm will bring it apart, I guarantee you. The ship is designed to be fast, and unfortunately, if you don't keep it up, things go bad quickly. I'm probably looking at a couple thousand gold, get this thing back in its proper shape.
And we can't do that here. We need a proper port.
Yeah, we could do it here, but I need at least 20 people to do it. I gotta go hire them.
How long?
Maybe 2 days, 3 days tops.
How much gold exactly?
Like I said, 2,000 gold, and I could probably get this done.
And it'll be pristine,
No,
clean.
no, it'll work.
No, I want it
It'll not sink. We're gonna need a bigger port if you want something better than what you see.
I look at Omni and say, 1,000 apiece. And I extend my hand out. You
What
and me,
can we
buddy.
do for 2 apiece? I look over
Ooh.
to Nala. What if we do 4,000? Will that make it faster as well as more secure? Will it be able to ride out a storm?
I'll meet up with my husband and we'll get together and deal with it. We can get this done in 2 days, absolutely.
You promise?
Cog, go find Brackish for me. Tell him to stop spending what he has. I'll be there in the wharf in a moment.
Again?
I look at Nala like, you promise you can get it done in 2 days?
I promise I will
And I
You have a lot done in 2 days with 4,000 gold.
Come here. Give it to me.
And
You have to put out your-
it's got to be the funniest thing you've ever seen, because as Nala puts out his pinky, I mean, it's the size of like Gatharn's forearm, right? And it's just this huge sausage hand comes out, and it just wraps around Jin's tender little soft pinky. And
Okay, that's enough. All right. Yep, I got it. Point across. All right. We'll give you 2 now and 2 when they're done. Fair?
yeah, 2 for just supplies, and well,
2 for labor.
and 2 for labor. Yeah, I could do that because now I can hire 40. I can get 40 working on this now.
You are a gorgeous man.
Yeah, thank you.
And pick up some maps.
I'll front the first 2.
Maps. What do
Right.
you? Have you even been down in the captain's hold?
No, not yet.
I would recommend you do that. I'll get started on this. Cog, let's go find my husband. And the
I
2
throw
of them.
2,000 gold at Nala.
Okay. Wraps it on to his belt, goes down the gangway and onto the wharf. The 2 of them immediately, the minute they're in the pier section, they're grabbing people that are just kind of loafing around and throwing them in front of them, and they're going to throw bodies at this. And you can see the intensity as they kind of dip off into the crowd.
Here we go. See what's going on in the captain's quarters then, gang?
Definitely.
So the challenge with the sloop is, in order for it to remain quick, light, and functional, there's only enough room at the end of the till for the helmsperson. That's it, right? The helmsperson, and the helm itself comes directly out of the deck. The deck itself is weathered and not in good shape, but it's sleek. It's designed to be very fast. And one of the things you'll start to learn from mastering this ship, you go twice the speed of all normal ships, 3 times the speeds of like war galleys and other heavy ships. You have advantage like with the wind. When you have a good wind on this sail, this thing is fast, it's quick, it turns. It's a solid design that's just been allowed to be dilapidated and kind of fall into disrepair. But to maintain that design, the main deck, right, holds the fore and aft ballistas that are physically brought up on deck when needed and established as weaponry. The main deck, the deck right below the main deck, right? So that deck is where all the quarters are. And there's a section of 100 square foot section of that deck that's reserved just for the captain. It's a very small kind of makeshift deck. But all galley activities happen at the very front, as the galley is quite small as well. And in the base secondary deck of the sloop is either a cargo hold, partial ballast line to maintain buoyancy and to maintain the intact nature of the design. So as all of you kind of head down to kind of take all this in, there's not really that much here. It's very simple hammocks, wooden boxes as footlockers, maybe 2 small common tables pushed together. Have you guys ever watched any of those fishing shows on Discovery Channel? You know, It's very much like that, only it's a sloop design, right? Just very simplistic interiors. But once again, the wood has just not been treated well. It's been allowed to be overly weathered. It's because of its speed, it hits waves at such dramatic speeds that there's even some cracks that have been tarred and tarpaulined over to kind of reinforce them. Based on Nala's description, you begin to see exactly what he's describing is quite accurate.
So the ballistas on the fore and aft section, those are large. Those are very big, like a person sits in it and like swivels it around and mans it.
No, it just sits on a pivot tripod and you just hold it like that. It's a light ballista.
Okay, so it's more like a light cannon as well. It's just
It's
like
a giant
on its own
fucking
little
crossbow.
It's
Yeah.
basically a giant fucking crossbow. Yeah.
How many more would we be able to possibly fit? Is there room on the sides for some of those?
You
to
could
point out to the
possibly
sides?
mount additional ones on the sides if you could find any more.
Okay.
And you don't need investigation checks for this because you're not really under duress. It's your ship. You have full access to it. We'll get to the captains and the galley in a second, but the main crew compartment is hammock and boxes that are all empty, with the exception of the 3 crew that you currently have. And that's been cordoned off by them. You can see, where their clothes and some of their equipment is kind of lying about the space they've taken. The 2 main tables in the center have stacks of bowls and tankards and plates. You can see a keg of rum off to the side and maybe some rations in crates off to the side as well. The main hold is completely empty. There's nothing inside the main hold with one exception. And near the front of the main hold is some spare parts and spare equipment and 2 light ballista that are currently in pieces and stored for use, but they don't look like they've been used in a long time. They do not look like they've been brought up for a long time. However, down in the main hold, I need all 4 of you to give me investigation checks, please.
$17.
15.
Okay.
19.
6.
Jen, what'd you get?
6.
Medi, as the 4 of you are all walking around taking in the space, you hear a hollow sound underneath your right foot. It's a clunking, hollow sound.
Hidden compartment? Question mark?
Kind of lean down, press on the plank. 3 of the planks are loose.
You're right. This place is falling apart. Jeez.
I think it's
What
more
have
like
we
some-
gotten
I think
ourselves into?
I think it's intentional. I'm gonna
They
try
said
to
they were
pry.
smugglers.
Yeah, as you go to lift the 3 planks, they come up at the same time and they're attached to a thin metal surface that's about 8 feet long. And you're now staring down in an empty metal box that's about 4 feet wide, 8 feet long, and maybe 2 feet deep. And
Great.
this is definitely a compartment that could be easily used for smuggling.
Oh, I thought never mind. It would make sense that that's where they would lock.
Medi's all, look, my bedroom.
Yes, because it's like a coffin.
Ah!
Can we throw some of your dirt in there?
Dibs!
It did occur to me though.
I got a
do
jar
have-
of dirt.
I got a jar of dirt. I do have an errand that I need to run.
Yeah, hold on.
Go on.
Do we need to get like backup crewmates, like 5 of them or something, just so they can be mealtime for? Are you trying to get bit, Captain? You haven't been bit before, so you can judge me all you want until you've been bit, and then we can start a.
You have no idea about our personal life.
Captain.
Giggity.
For shame.
Anyways,
I give Omni the hardest, like, are you being serious right now, stare?
we are not bringing on crew members specifically for meals.
Insight check.
Go for it. And based on Medi's roll, Omni, you're free to do whatever you want based on their roll. Her roll.
There's empty barrels, right?
Looking about, there's fragments of crates and barrels. This hold is completely empty. There's debris and detritus lying around, but nothing of obvious value.
What'd you roll?
I bet you got a hickey one time. 9. Or no, 11.
Like we said, we are not bringing on crew members for the specific purpose of being consumed.
So what
While
are we
they're
gonna
having
do
this
when
conversation,
she's hungry?
I'm
It's
looking for the
almost
captain's
like
quarters.
I would never ask for that to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Then
You trapped yourself on a ship that's in the middle of the ocean, surrounded by your prey.
not everybody is my prey. I get to choose, or I try to. That's the errand I was about to run on.
Oh, okay.
Appreciate it.
You guys watch as Gatharin goes up the steps.
Darn,
To
where you running? There he goes.
Gatharin, as you get up to the main, the deck before the main deck, right? The first level, and then the cargo hold is where you're coming out of. The back end beyond where the last set of hammocks are, you can see a single wooden door leading into a very nondescript space.
I go in there.
Okay. Step inside. It's not particularly fancy. There's a bed, devoid of blankets and sheets. It's mostly just a mattress, and kind of like a metal and wooden frame that holds it together. There's a small circular table in the middle. You can see just one small porthole that looks out beyond where the tiller would normally be. You can see where the main, I forget what that's called, the main till is.
The rudder?
The rudder, thank you. Where the main rudder is, you can see where it feeds up into a pulley system that then goes up to where the helmsman would guide the ship, which kind of keeps it in line with the fact that it's a fast ship, so it's very streamlined, very simple. There's at least 2 empty bookshelves on either side of the bare walls. You can see a foot locker that's closed, quite heavy iron foot locker with a big iron lock hanging on the padded section. You can see folded up and crumpled up clothes underneath a little corner table off to your right. There's very nondescript paintings kind of hanging about. And then in a big ceramic kind of planter container with an open, there's maybe a dozen or so rolled up maps. They're just kind of in there in length and kind of jutting out. You can see on the center small circular table 2 other maps that are weighted down by rocks with the normal gear, that would be used, to chart and plot. And that's what you see.
Okay. How's the hasp look on the lock on the chest?
It's got a giant keyed entry point. It looks.
Well, not the lock. Is it like a padlock?
It's a padlock.
Yeah. So what's the hasp look like? What it's looped through?
That looks equally as thick as the breadth of the latch of the lock. This thing's heavily locked. You definitely pick up on that. And reinforced.
I'm gonna grab the lock and twist.
Give me a strike check.
Trying to break the hasp off from the freaking chest itself.
Yep, fair enough. Go ahead and give me a.
That would be 18 plus 4, 22.
22. Now give me a dex save with advantage.
I already get advantage because I am conscious.
Double advantage.
Double advantage. That is 20.
20. You guys hear a loud explosion up above in the crew deck. You can now smell smoke, and you can hear the telltale signs of beginnings of flame. Gatharin, you take 82 points of fire damage.
Halved?
Yeah, halved because you saved. Sorry. Thanks for reminding me, Shannon. They take 41
My
points.
God.
So halved after you save.
I was like, are you
Hey,
still
if it was
up,
me,
bud?
guess what? Probably would have been quartered.
Yeah, probably. Or you could have
Probably.
successfully.
Trying to rip the lock off.
Above game, Medi, don't you have proficiency in thieves tools?
No, I sure thought that I did, but boy, would I be good with them.
Yeah.
So as the
It's
3 of
still
you
a
go
20
running
day.
up, you could see Gatharin kind of wandering out of a blasted out door that's lying on the ground. There's just huge chunks of the wall, the interior of the captain's quarters, like blown out as well. There's a small tendril of smoke coming out and a very small glow of flame on the interior of the cabin's quarter. And Gatharn is covered in soot, smoke. All of his scalp is blistering and burnt from this, as he has no more body hair anymore. From
I already had no body
I know
hair.
from the taking of the drugs. His clothes are all smoldering, the few clothes he's got wearing.
I just run by him straight to the flames to start putting them out.
They're relatively small. It's mostly the mattress, and you manage to put the mattress out, and some of the wooden furniture had caught on fire. But luckily, the maps did not catch on fire. And everything that I described for Gatharn, you're now seeing in the interior of the space. And as you look over at where the iron box was, the lid is peeled all the way back and kind of shattered and bent. And you can see twisted and blown apart pieces of book and parchment. You can see shattered glass strewn all about the place. You can see, surprisingly, a pair of chainmail gauntlets that are completely intact.
These are mine now.
Okay.
Gatharn, what did you do?
Chest was trapped.
Oh,
The
yeah,
smoke
how'd you
comes
figure it
out of
out
his
with your
mouth.
face?
Did we learn a lesson here today?
Use the key.
All right, as long as you learned your lesson. Come on, don't be mad at Damani. Pat him on the cheek.
With the
I'm gonna do a
door,
little.
well, with the door broken and on the ground as you say that, Jen, and Gatharn kind of responds with the key. Hanging on the back on a steel hook is a key.
I'm gonna just
In my
hide it.
defense, it was pretty high up there.
No, I understand. But you know now to always ask your friends for help, right?
Yes, but you guys were arguing about juice boxes.
I know,
got
I know,
bored.
and that's our fault. But next time, you get a little curious, just ask us. Like I said, Captain, don't be too hard on the little guy. He's just doing his best. I'm gonna do a little bit of shopping. I'm gonna leave you two to do whatever it is you're gonna do. Captain, please, come on, just come on. We
Eddie,
didn't
what'd you
know a lot
find?
of things. Okay, bye. You guys have fun.
Mostly smoldering wreckage.
Is anything intact still?
And I got some gloves
And the maps.
and some maps.
Oh, the maps didn't get completely destroyed that were in there?
No,
Okay, perfect.
and like half of a
Um,
mattress. You know.
Above game, if I recall correctly, Jin has mending, right? That doesn't repair. No, he doesn't. I thought you cast mending on the ship before.
No, I got carpenter's tools proficiency.
I think
The old-fashioned
that
way, man.
was that was
he cast
Athiola.
mending the old. Yeah.
That was Athiola who had mending.
There we go. And there's not a mark on those gloves, on those gauntlets that you found? That's impressive.
I was gonna look them over. I'm guessing that they're magical, but do they appear magical, Jason?
They're surprisingly well made. They suffered no damage. That would indicate they're possibly magical, or at
Got
least
it.
whatever craft they're made of, it prevented them from taking damage.
Anything specific or interesting about them, or are they just like well made?
They look well made. There's some
Maybe.
kind of like, there's an emblem on it that you don't really necessarily recognize right away. You can always try them on, see what they do.
Do they appear cursed or trapped in any way?
Give me an
Before I
investigation.
stick my hands in them.
Chop your hands off when you put your hand in.
Yeah, give me an investigation check as you kind of examine them a little bit more closely.
I was gonna say, Medi, you don't have you're not able to identify things that are magical, are you? We're still learning what everybody is able to do.
I'm going through the wreckage of the box in case there was a secret compartment in there.
Give me
no,
an
I'm just
investigation,
very good
Gatharn, as you're examining your destructive nature.
I am chaos bitches.
23.
Nice.
That's an 18.
For you, Medi, as you examine the gauntlets very closely, they're surprisingly lightweight. they don't seem to be intended for armor because they're so light in weight. They're just finely stitched together with very tiny ringlets of a very light metal that you don't really recognize. But in the hand pads of the gauntlets, you can see little tiny, almost near microscopic holes, and it looks like something comes out of them.
Are these Wolverine gloves?
More than just large holes near the tips. The pads themselves are littered with hundreds of very small holes.
Like it would stab me in the hand, or like something would go pew?
Like something would come out of them.
Cool. Well,
Kind of
if
like
they...
vampire gloves in BDSM.
Oh, I'm familiar. Don't need to elaborate on that. I'm gonna put him on.
As you put them on, you watch as the invocations flare on the back of the gauntlets, and they are little tiny spiders that appear on the back as you are wearing gloves of spider climb.
Completely useless to me, but cool. I understand what they are, though. Take them off and just chuck them to Omni.
Okay.
Lets you do stuff like this. I just walk up the wall.
Seriously?
But probably specifically your hands. I'm not sure if it works on your whole person, but
I'm gonna put them on.
You put them on, the little spiders flare up on the back, and you watch as very thin metal fibers come out of the pads of the gloves. You lean them onto the wall, and they just... And
Would that mean he would have advantage in not being disarmed?
Depends on how he chooses to use it.
If you're just holding a rapier in your hand, then it won't like fly out because it's grippy. I put the foot against the wall, see if it's like cast on the entire body or if it's just the gloves themselves.
It appears to be just the gloves themselves.
Okay.
You
These
get
are
the
neat.
feeling this mostly allows you to operate similar to the effect of spider climb, with the exception that you're using these gloves to gain advantage in your climbing ability.
They're grippy gloves.
Yes,
And they don't require attunement
they do not.
because you were able
Darn.
to activate them right off the bat.
Are you wearing gauntlets? Do you have gauntlets?
Katharn does not wear any armor.
wait.
These wouldn't be armor. These would be gloves, right?
I know, but I'm saying does not wear any
Oh,
armor.
gotcha. Yeah.
Wait.
Well, Medi, yes. Who enjoys grappling the most? So far, Gatharn's been the only one that's been having any type of like tumbling and grappling and
Grappling
Stuff.
is
In
a
bed.
good idea, but I cannot believe I am suggesting this. Jin and I both don't need to breathe. So if we ever had to like do a stealth mission, jump off a ship, climb up another ship.
yeah.
Somewhere
you,
in
could already
the-
do, you could already do that with your feet, right?
Well,
Somewhere in
yeah,
the
but-
Revels, Jin just sneezes. Just
I mean, yes, but
somebody must be talking about me.
These are great.
what-
These are great.
Yeah.
We'll hold
Or
on
we
to
could
them.
just not give him anything at all because he really didn't want me to have this ring of invisibility, and I kind of hate him a little bit. But it would probably be not a terrible idea.
You guys can hear a series of heavy footsteps and shouting coming from up above. You hear the voice of Karg and the others directing numerous individuals, but it's mostly up on the surface. Sounds like some of them might have returned.
Did I find anything else about that box?
You did
ask.
find a false bottom that was completely obliterated. You managed to recover 2 small rubies.
Nice.
Oh, Captain was holding out on the crew.
How much do you think those would be worth?
I don't know, rough guess, 75 gold apiece.
Is he at all accurate, DM?
Tharn, give me an intelligence check.
Give me a mathematics check.
That
Gemology check.
is a 17.
I mean, you saw some similar size rubies in Alim's shop that averaged between, in cost, maybe between 50 and 80 gold. It could be worth that much. It's possible.
Should give them to the crew.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's from a previous take. I am in agreement.
Give one to Brackish, one to Nala, as they're the higher ranking.
Or just give them both to Brackish as he's the highest ranking and he can split it between the other two.
Shannon, did you go get the bean?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. I missed the bean.
Yeah.
The bean was attacking.
She is blessedly taking a nap right now because she's punched many holes in my thighs and hips recently, and I'm not a fan.
See? Jen,
Yeah,
now she knows what it feels like.
Yeah, go ahead and give him to Brackish. Let them divvy it up amongst the three of them, since they're the only remaining.
You hear Karg's voice. Kind of, you see his head stick down in the old Captain. Is everything okay? I came rushing back with a handful of sailors when we heard an explosion.
Yeah, Footlocker was trapped.
Oh, yeah, I would have. Oh, you just had to ask. We would have told you that.
Didn't know there was a Footlocker in there.
Well, there's a key.
Or a key.
The key on the back of the door.
I saw that too late. Apparently, it's not eye level for me. Maps are good, though.
Maybe next
Don't
time.
know what else was in there.
Maybe next time I'll make sure they're in the shape of testicles and at your eye level. That way you can see them. And Karg kind of pulls his head back up and is now barking orders to numerous individuals.
Lauren, do this with me real quick. Ready? Here we go.
What are we looking at?
Yeah, see? There we go. Let's just practice that. Practice that.
On Shannon's face. It's telling because Shannon's like, he's not going to remember. Why the fuck are you wasting your time?
Anyways. Okay.
Everything I need to hit is at eye level.
He's a naked blender. Let him be a naked blender.
I'm just gonna go do some errands real quick.
Yeah, and if this is our boat, well, I better go get those healing potions I stashed on the other boat.
Betty, are you good
And
to
get
go
the rest
alone?
of our gear.
I was thinking of probably mostly sticking to being invisible. But I wouldn't turn down company.
Oh, we have a whole bunch of stuff that everybody needs to be doing.
Just
We're
kidding.
just concerned about. Okay.
Just right up the stairs. Maddie, as you reach the main deck, it's awash with individuals working on kit, unloading lumber. Karg is busy barking out orders to individuals, and it's just a busy scene of activity.
All right. Well, I will tell you where I'm needing to go.
Okay.
I would like to find some sort of, black market for chemicals.
Fair enough.
B, it occurs to me that it would be smart to try to see if anybody, and this is an extreme long shot, has any of the stuff that Raylene gave me, or components that I could ascertain that I would need to make it, because I would like to look at this thing with my proficiency with alchemy that I forgot that I had.
I know, right? I mean, you could always just go have a conversation with Raylene about it. She seemed fairly open to your concerns and fairly... You get the feeling that the one kind of relationship thing you might have with her, she behaves very similar to the idea of being victimized. She understands that. And that's why she seems so open to sharing this special brew that Thorvald had shared with her. So either Thorvald or Raylene could be potential contacts.
Fair enough. Okay, so instead of that, I will go talk to Raylene about it, but I'll still look at it with my eyeballs while I'm walking.
Right.
And then I would like to find a nice bottle of alcohol of some variety.
Okay. What part of the Revels would you like to go to? You are aware that Skull's Walk is usually where the majority of the purveyors are, which means less likely to be black market transactions there. There is the Den of Thieves, which is mostly kind of a section that gets its name from the fact that, well, even though people try to openly discuss how the Revels are relatively safe, it's a kind of darkish and not so pleasant place to go to. Some of the
Say,
some of the less or some of the more swarthy and malcontent sailors tend to linger there. The outer wards tend to be where most of the supply purveyors are, like where you get lumber and chain and rope and sail and the things that you need to refit a ship. The den was where all the gambling and fighting activity was taking place. Galley's Way is kind of a mix and match of kind of like very small curio shops, almost equivalent to like, touristy in nature. Very one-off shops, knick-knacky to a certain degree. The Marquis district and Skulls Walk are probably your two best options for normal purchases. Being here for 2 days, the Den of Thieves is probably where your black market could potentially be.
well, then that's where I shall go.
Okay. You're heading off towards the Den of Thieves. Omni, Jin, and Gatharn, what are the three of you doing with your remaining afternoon of time?
Heading back
Well, I
to.
said,
Yeah, I was
Go
heading
ahead.
back to Raylene's ship.
Oh, that's right. You're heading over to Orleans to acquire all your stuff that's over there. Jin, what are you doing?
probably I'm looking for a mask somewhere in the Rebels, like a full face mask.
Okay. Galley's Way would probably be a good spot to look for something like that.
Okay, I'll heading to the Galley's Way.
Okay. Omni, what would they like to do?
Gatharn, the fun that you had today, was that with Raylene?
You all heard her. She said, if I behaved, I get sexy times.
Did you behave?
I got sexy times.
Okay.
So I must have.
When you were in there, in the captain's quarters,
When you were
did
in
you
there. Giggity.
clarify in the captain's quarters? Clarify in the room with the captain. Did you talk about anything? Did she say anything about what happened with Tharivol? Was there anything that you learned?
Learned a bit. Found out that skull I was talking to is Copper Joe. Found out that Thorvald and everyone else on this fucking turtle shell thinks we have this stupid compass. Raylene believes you guys have it, but you haven't told me because apparently I can't tell a lie, which is true. And yeah, if we did have that compass, that'd be one hell of a trump card because apparently it lets you like find any ship you're familiar with, even if it's just like from secondhand knowledge. Apparently, like someone could tell you about the ship, like the name, the cargo they're carrying, and you can find it. But you have to be like kind of attuned to it, I guess. So you kind of have to bond with the compass. Yeah, but apparently, yeah, that's how Copper Joe is able to find and become like the last great pirate. Allegedly, I don't know. Everyone thinks it was the compass. Maybe the guy was just a really good fucking pirate.
There's always a bit of truth to most fairy tales, right?
Yeah, pity that stupid compass is at the bottom of the ocean with lava, right?
Awkward silence.
When you say familiar with the ships, like you could just hear about a ship and he'd be able to find it?
Allegedly. That's what the book said.
He didn't have to like see it or know the captain or anything like crazy like that.
He just had to be familiar with the ship. He just needed to know the name. I think possibly like the cargo. I don't know. And he could find it. Why do you want to know? It's not like we can use the information anyways.
It's just we're hearing so many different versions of the tale of what we're trying to figure out. What Thorvald, why he wants it. If you can figure out a man's motivation, you can
It's easy.
figure
If
out.
he's guild master, he can actually find out where all the ships under his control or purview are at, and if they're actually going on these missions that they're being assigned to.
Or better yet, if he's familiar with all of the ships that the Hawk owns.
Which, from what I've heard, is like all of them.
Pretty much.
Or,
say
you
anything
know, he
about
could
the
also be
flag?
going.
What were you gonna say? Going for
I was
what?
going to say, freaking, you know, he's got that hard on for Gregor. That guy ever sets foot on sea, you could find him that way. Ambush, bamboozle. I mean, that's what I would do if someone killed my brother. And if I had the compass. Thankfully, I don't have any brothers or
Yeah,
sisters
that's a good thing. It's a good thing.
that I'm aware of.
What about
Been
kids?
nearly a year. Not sure I can have any.
Oh, sorry, didn't mean to.
Why are you sorry? Who wants those little buggers around anyways?
Oh, absolutely, totally. About the flag, you said something about a book?
Yeah, there was a book. It told you about Copper Joe, last freaking great pirate before the Clovis Conclave became formed, and the compass was what led him. I don't recall anything about a flag.
Jin seemed to think that maybe it's a combination of the two that made him so formidable.
I don't remember reading anything about that. Just who he was. That's how I figured out that stupid skull I was talking to was Copper Joe. Raylene seemed to be surprised that we actually had talked to Copper Joe too.
I mean, we didn't, you did.
No, you guys jumped in after me. You guys were talking to him as well. Then I got bored because you guys' conversation was going nowhere, so I left. The only person that didn't talk to him was Medi. Floating Skull, Dark Abyss, Copper Joe.
Oh, it was really cold.
Yes.
So much happened, and then lava started falling on us, and it was like, get out of there! Okay. I figured that never mind. Thought that would have given it away, but...
Copper Joe! That's why I was always getting annoyed when people kept asking me about this stupid compass and Copper Joe. It's like, I don't even know who the hell this guy is. I do now, though.
Oh! The Hawk wanted me to let you know that you should definitely avoid the sisters. Like, and...
I was hoping to get a matching set. Like all
no,
3
the
years.
one that you have, the one that... It's back. It grew back. I saw her. She has
If they
both
got
again.
magic, they probably just healed it.
It doesn't grow back things. It seals them up, but it doesn't like grow back an ear, does it?
Oh, I've heard of some really powerful priests who are devout in their faith that could make things grow back.
It's insane.
And if this guy's is as loaded as we all know he is, probably has a couple of trinkets that lets that happen. Or they're not really elves.
Fair.
Tasted like one, though.
Not gonna ask how you know. So what did you have? What were you gonna do for this afternoon?
If
We got
it's
some
our
stuff to do.
boat, I just loaded up a crap load of freaking clerics in a bottle on Raylene's ship with my money, so I would like those back. And also my hammer. You guys probably want your stuff too.
Yeah, that would be good. We're gonna go over there later this evening, so we'll go ahead and pick up our supplies and everything then. But
You want me
Yeah,
to get
if
the other
you-
2 stuff?
I feel like that's kind of, is it private? Would they want you to? Not
I don't
sure.
know. I'm so used to you saying we as in just yourself. So when you're saying we're go get, it's like, are you just talking about yourself or the other two? So,
Yes.
clarification would help. So just get my stuff.
Okay. This is weird.
Or their stuff and my stuff, and you'll get your
I
stuff.
will work on it.
That's weird. Let's not do that again.
We're trying. I'm trying. Okay. We should probably set up times that we're going to meet back at certain places, considering everything that has happened in the past.
So
36
yeah,
hours.
I plan on doing more reveling once the sun goes down.
Look at Jeff Omni's face. The parental look of disappointment.
Unless you got orders otherwise.
Whatever. The way he's. Unless you got orders otherwise. Obviously, we're not going to get in the way of you enjoying yourself and having a good time at the Revels. Do what you will. Just know that there are fairly decent-sized targets on all of our backs. Multiple powerful people.
That's why I got my
Want
pepper
us
juice.
Or want us dead.
I hold up my water skin. That's why I got pepper juice.
Okay.
Here, have a whiff. I crack it open.
We're good.
Yeah, I mean, with the lid open, you could already smell. Your eyes are slightly beginning to, yeah.
Technically not a weapon.
Right. I would say be safe and be smart, but have fun.
Gathar goes running off the deck of the ship, down the gangway, and in the direction where Raylene's ship is. Omni,
There's
you're
the
the last
schooners
one
I'm
on
doing.
deck, and you're watching as Karg and a handful of about 10 just very simple day laborers kind of like going about the process of ripping out old planks and, doing some shaping of the wood and kind of like getting things built and ripped and resealed and doing what repair crews do. And they seem to be working at a decent clip, and Karg is doing a halfway decent job of, keeping things in order. Anything else you'd like to do with your afternoon?
Yes. For clarification, the Ring of Fly, we said that it was an hour in total, but it doesn't have to be used all at once. That could be like split up.
No, once it's
Or
invoked.
is it like once it's activated, then
Yeah.
it's on for an hour,
Correct.
and then it doesn't get that again until a short rest, long rest.
Long rest.
Okay.
Above
and then
game. I'm assuming that at some point you guys gave me the Ring of Protection.
Yeah, did we not? I thought we did.
Well, I wasn't
Gathar.
with you when you distributed it and all that stuff. So we finally got back together on the black.
Come here. Come here.
Yes.
Just because I know how much you like chaos,
I do.
while it might not be something that is actually practical and fun to use in like battle and stuff, here is the necklace of Blink and that Ring of Protection.
I need to attune to both of these, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And that's kind of like a short rest.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
That's
an hour at
usually-
a tavern, you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's usually when you do it.
The Ring
I'll
of
be like
Fly,
focusing on the ring and the necklace as I'm like walking to the other ship.
What is the fly speed?
60 feet.
60. Awesome. Boom. Okay, cool. Omni's gonna go for a walk, look at a lot of ships, and just kind of compare and contrast as far as what we saw on the Black Eye, what we know of Raylene's ship, and just kind of size up all of many of the ships that are here.
Fair enough.
And as far as I can't say there would be like a registry or something. Is there some place where when everybody comes to the Revels, they're like, "Hey, we're here. We're from this ship," and like they sign in or check in or something like
You
that?
get the
Or is
feeling
it
that
just like
you get the
chaos?
feeling that probably happens at the Guildmaster's headquarters when they start either trying to persuade or influence the choices being made for contracts. Usually, after the initial first day, conversations are had, and on the very closing day of the Revels, all the contracts are handed out.
Gotcha. Okay. And Guildmaster's headquarters, that's where Thorvald is?
Yep.
That's that whole scene that we were already in.
Yep.
We don't want to go back there just yet.
Medi, as you're wandering through town, go ahead and give me a perception check. Jen, go ahead and make one as well as you're wandering through the Galley's Way.
Also, I was planning on being pretty invisible the majority of the time, if it makes any difference.
Yeah, with advantage works.
15.
15 for Jen.
Same thing twice. 11.
11. Interesting.
I like that you said interesting.
Making your way through the Galley's Way and eventually to the outer wards and in the direction of the Den of Thieves, which is where you believe some possible black market activity may be available. You notice off to your right a familiar elven woman. She seems to be talking to a very small, nondescript goblin, and they seem to be in a very heated conversation. And they're at the entranceway of an alley. She didn't roll very good on her stealth check, which is the only reason why you could see her. It's one of the triplets. It's one of the Hawks sisters. It is not Kearney.
To the goblin that was starting the rumors, perhaps, that was just mentioned, perhaps.
She seems very animated and upset, and she quickly shoves him deeper into the alleyway, and you lose sight of the conversation.
Well, all right, then. I'm going to just go ahead and walk by that.
Give me stealth with advantage. Make sure you don't do anything like trip over your feet, accidentally stab yourself. We know your tendencies for that.
Thank God, advantage.
30-20.
30-20. And you're invisible, so you kind of take advantage of this and sidestep some of the debris and litter that's in the gutters of this alleyway entrance. And as you stand at the corner looking in, you can see that the goblin is now on the ground. You see that the goblin is possibly unconscious. It's hard to tell. And she pulls her cowl back and lets her cloak kind of fall slightly behind herself. Go ahead and give me perception with advantage.
16.
16. As she does this, you can see numerous physical eyeballs on her skin. Her shoulder alone contains maybe 5 or 6. Her jaw is slightly agape as she leans down towards the goblin, her hand over the goblin's face. And you watch this arcane-like energy begin to absorb from the goblin as the goblin desiccates to ash, and you watch a fresh eye appear in their collarbone. She puts the cloak and cowl back up, stands, and goes the opposite direction of you, deeper into the alleyway.
I say in my head. Okay.
Hey, maybe another thing that I should look for is a way to blind a lot of eyeballs at the same time. Continue away from the eldritch monstrosity.
As you make your way, kind of very, both kind of terrified. It's been a rough day for you, liches and soul-absorbing elves, whatever that was. Being in the den of thieves, there's no obvious black market signs other than the fact that it's incredibly obvious. It's a series of individuals just hawking wares out in the open. It's almost as if they know they can't stop it, so they've given everybody a safe place to practice it. And this gives you the feeling that Tharivol probably gets a little bit of the take. And you can see all manner of individuals hawking all variety of exotics. You can see a table littered with exotic-looking animals and fauna of all sort. You look over to see one particular goblin is hawking like very specific types of plants. You look over to see another, you see like a half-orc lingering about a table strewn with ceramic containers. You can see an old lady leaning over a table and passing over spices and other exotic ingredients. This place is just awash with just about every imaginable thing you could probably want to get your hands on that would definitely not show up in normal ports of call.
Anything interesting within easy snatching range?
Give me investigation as you linger invisibly with advantage because you are invisible, and I'm rolling horribly for perception checks.
Same dice. Did the same thing twice in a row again, but 22.
22. The orc selling ceramics, you realize as he pops off the lid of one of them, and it looks to be like a sulfur-like compound on the interior of the ceramic, then puts the lid back on and hands over a small leather bag of it to one of the individuals. They exchange silver for the contents. You watch as he goes behind his table, and there's a series of iron boxes. The ceramic jars aren't that big. I mean, they're maybe the size of your hand. And they're all labeled. One's labeled sulfur. One's labeled acid. One is labeled black powder. One is labeled guano. One is labeled talc. One is labeled powder with a question mark at the end of it. One is labeled mustard seed. Another one is labeled lead. Another one is labeled coal. Another one is labeled ash. There's a lot of alchemical components here.
Ah, well. Do I see the triplet anywhere near me at the moment?
Give me a perception check.
Oh boy. 8.
8? No, not that you can see.
Cool. Excellent. I'll do a little bloop bloop. Not like directly in front of the table, but like in the crowd somewhere so I don't just like, ha! I'm a wizard.
Right. Go ahead and give me sleight of hand with advantage.
21.
Which container are you trying to grab?
I meant so that I could appear.
Gotcha. I thought you
the
were.
guy
I thought you were
just paid-
snatching. I'll say you come into existence as a crowd literally passes in front and behind you, and you don't get the feeling anyone noticed at this point.
Yeah. Well, I mean, somebody just paid for some of the stuff in like.
It was
silver.
distracting. Yeah, I rolled a 12 for his perception. He didn't notice.
I mean, that it doesn't seem expensive enough that it'd be worth stealing when I have.
I got you.
Money.
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, sulfur is a pretty common chemical. The other rare chemicals are probably going to be a little bit higher. The real problem with selling chemicals anywhere in a normal port of call is that you have to be licensed. You have to have, the agreements of the city master, and you have to, there's a lot of controls and bribes that have to be paid. So some of these chemicals are dangerous, but available.
I will approach and ask. Got anything particularly interesting?
I have lots of interesting things. What are you looking for?
Anything that would explode?
I have black powder.
Hmm.
Are there other things that explode other than black powder?
I am sure that there are. I was wondering if maybe you knew of some of them.
Give me a persuasion check.
Why? 17 somehow.
He looks at you and kind of looks around and goes, well, I've got this new fancy chemical that, well, he don't need it no more. Would you like to take a look at it?
Well, of course.
So there's this alchemy guy in Nicodranus. He's figured out a way to liquefy the effects of black powder. And he kind of reaches under the table and he pulls out a small, like, metal box and he opens it. There's 6 very small vials on the inside. And he carefully reaches in and pulls out a very small yellowish liquid and shows it to you. With this vial, I could blow a hole in just about anything. But it's dangerous to handle. Drop it if it comes into contact with something too early. They call it glycerin.
Right.
It's
yes.
the residual effects when you make black powder. It normally
Didn't expect this to be a real world. Yep. Okay.
But yeah, they call it glycerin. Very hard to come by. It's usually burnt off in the manufacture process. But I know a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy.
Right. Yeah. Yes, you do. Out of curiosity,
Yeah.
would the best method of delivering a thing such as this be to just throw it, or can you put it on something, or?
The glass is tempered enough that you could possibly, I've thought about myself, like tying it to a bow or like an arrow or a dart. Maybe
That's kind of what I was thinking.
I've had purveyors that and clients that have poured it into small, thin ceramic balls and throw those at things as well. Because you know, when you're on ship, black powder, wick, and a metal ball is all nice. But if somebody sees you with one of those, they know that you've got a, explosive device. The beauty of this one, you don't have to light it, you don't have to do anything. It's just the physical contact of it.
A bullet, maybe?
No, because I think it would go off when the hammer hits the cartridge, or hits the pan, right? The hammer comes down, hits the pan, and vibrates, and in your face. So
Probably just saved me from blasting my arm off and/or exploding my entire person.
Well, I haven't gotten your money yet, so yeah.
Fair enough.
To enjoy my repeat customers. This only happens once a year. Otherwise, it's practically dangerous to be out there doing this.
Oh, I'm sure that I will definitely be back and welcomed with open arms. How much?
It's 1,000 gold per vial.
Oh my god! I should have just stolen this.
Well, this was the one thing that wasn't out. It was
It
like
was
down
not, I
below
know.
and kind of tucked away. Yeah.
Ooh.
You could always
Ooh.
sleight of hand it, roll a natural 1, and see what happens.
I explode. End of campaign for me. Okay. Think about that.
Maybe.
I was reading some of my stuff. Did he say he had more?
Yeah, how many vials?
Just 6. Yeah, it's the 6 vials in the small metal box. Now look, I know it's expensive. I could, do a deal for all 6.
What kind of deal?
If you do all 6, 4,500 gold. And not those silly money exchanger tokens. This is off the books. I've got to pay my fee after I make these sales.
What about a gem of equivalent cost?
It's very doable as well. It saves me in the hassle of hauling so much coin. And it's a different fee when I acquire gems as opposed to coin.
Okay. Okay, 4,500 for all 6.
Yeah. Best I could do. Expensive moving this.
Of course. Of course, I wasn't trying to get you to lower your price. How much for just the black powder?
How much do you need?
The gem that I have is worth a bit more than 4,500.
Ah. I have small pony kegs of black powder. I have cheese heads of black powder, and I have single ceramic containers. This is a little bit easier and more stable to deal with, and it's a common market. It just depends on how much you need.
All right. Okay.
I mean, I could sell you 3 pony kegs of black powder for 1,000 gold.
Less than that. How about a single pony keg?
Okay. That'd be
And then I just like to look around.
Yeah, that'd be 100 pounds of black powder.
Oh, for sure. I'm gonna have to get this at the end.
Yeah.
Come back for it.
Because I'll be like, oh my god, tiptoe through the window.
I just look at the rest of his things and just be like, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that. Try to use my experience with this
Right.
to just pick a variety of things that look interesting
Give
and that I could
me-
make cool stuff.
Give me an intelligence check with advantage.
Thank God. Oh my God, I almost fell off. 19.
19. With your alchemy proficiency, describe for me what you're attempting to accomplish from a chemicals perspective, or are you just looking for a variety of chemicals to experiment with later?
A little bit of experimentation, but things like acids,
Mhm.
anything corrosive that could maybe melt locks or etc. Just anything cool and useful.
He has a ceramic container of about 5 gallons of acid. He also has at least 2 ceramic containers of sulfuric acid. He has a single iron container that is filled with something he calls magnesium. Evidently, it's a metal that catches on fire. He also has a
Saves ships, as it turns out.
He also has a ceramic container full of bat guano. He has a ceramic container full of saltpeter. He has a ceramic container full of rock salt.
Okay, cool. I will get the pony keg. I will get those 6 vials and just a mishmash of whatever will round out my 5,000 gold.
And I will have a list of that for you next session.
Thank you, so that I don't make everybody sit here listening to me talk about chemicals for an hour.
Yep. So we'll say that is
Because I
going
can.
that is going on with you at this point. Jin, you are in the galley's way. Go ahead and give me a perception check.
$13.
Wandering through this particular area, there are a series of kiosks and stands, some partially open buildings that people walk in and out of, and it seems to be a variety of curios that are being sold here. Art, statuary, small bits and bobs of little simple kind of coral jewelry, pieces of coral, fancy kind of rocks and other things. However, there's one particular stall that you see that someone is selling, from a modern interpretation, a series of Mardi Gras masks, but the Revels also has their own form of mask called the Death Mask, and there's lots of different death masks that are hanging in porcelain, ceramics. Some are thin copper and metal, variety of sizes. All of them have a variety of handles attached to them as well. A halfling is kind of restocking their little kiosk and taking a drink from a tankard at the same time.
Oi, shopkeep.
Oh, hello. What can I do for you?
I'm looking for your creepiest mask. Something that'll really strike fear into the hearts of men and women and everybody in between.
Creepy death mask, huh? Let me see. Well, I mean, the competition's pretty heavy. I mean, you're pretty scary. Let's see. Oh, the gargoyle mask. You'll like that one. And he goes up there and he pulls it down, and it's this effigy of a gargoyle face with giant teeth of copper protruding out, eye slits, and like boils and ruptured looking skin kind of evasions on it. And it's just made out of this real thin kind of copper plating with curled blackened horns on the top of it.
This will do nicely.
Yeah, that'll be 10 silver, please. Or, sorry, 9 silver.
Flick over a gold piece. You wouldn't know where they sell like black pigment, yeah? Something to put on your face.
Oh, well, I think Marsha over there. He points to a gnome. She's got paints, if you need them, and the supplies for making paints.
Thank you, good sir. And your name was?
My name is Halftooth.
Charmed.
And he
Well,
smiles,
business
and
with
all
me.
of his teeth are broken in half.
Bit of a scrapper, are we?
Oh, no, I just don't brush.
That's foul.
Yeah.
And I'll turn and go to Marcia.
You go over, and as you turn, the female gnome looks at you and goes, "Oh, are you a painter? Looking for paints?"
Face paints, if you have anything safe to use around the eyes.
A face. Oh, I've got, yes. She reaches down, pulls out a small oaken box filled with a variety of face paints.
Is it like buy one pigment, or is it just like an assortment of paints?
It's an
Like
assortment.
a pigment.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
almost like a kit that she offers you.
It's like the Crayola 64.
Yeah, yeah. Not that,
Your
not
basic
that high.
clown kit.
I know,
Primary
right?
colors, black, white.
Well, you know, on the last day of the Revels, when we all kind of come out for the carnival, a lot of people like to use the paints to dress themselves up, and you know, there's competitions, and well, it's basically just a free for all. It's the last day of the Revels. We do what we do best. We get drunk, we get naked, and we have fun.
Beautiful. How much for the
Two
kit?
gold.
2 what?
2 gold.
2 gold. Well, here you are.
Oh, here you are, fine sir. Thank you.
Thank you. And I put on I get a little bit of the black on my fingers and I smudge it around my eyes. A little dab of the red, smudge it in their eyes, so it's like a dark black red. Then I put on the gargoyle mask. How do I look?
Terrifying.
Thank you.
No, really terrifying. You may not want to walk around like that.
Are you scared?
I believe that's what terrifying means, right? That you're scared.
Are you patronizing me now?
No, you. Well, you are my patron. Like,
So I'm patronizing you.
kind of, yeah.
So you think about it, it's just a patronizing circle. Hey, you do me a favor, Marcia, as I take off the mask. You go over there to Halftooth and you tell him to brush his teeth, right? Because I'm actually very concerned for his well-being. Dental hygiene is up there. You need to
Oh.
be careful.
You have to. It's a bit of an asshole, but I talk to him about it for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's kind to look after your neighbors.
Yeah, sure is.
You're so cute. And I pinch her cheek and I walk off.
Ow.
Love you.
Toodles. Weird motherfucker. It's so fucking weird. Catharn, you make it over to Raylene's ship. You head down into the main quarters where all of your stuff and gear is stashed. Come back up to the main deck. Captain Raylene is standing there. Looks at you. Moving, are we?
Yep. Apparently, Omni, who you assigned me to,
Yeah.
got a ship.
Yes. Interesting. Well, you tell old Omni to come see me when he's ready to discuss things.
Oh yeah, they'll be along shortly. They still got to get their stuff. I was really confused about if they wanted me to get their stuff or everyone's stuff. So eventually I just said, I'm just going to get my stuff. And yeah.
And she kind of runs her finger down the center of your sternum. Well, she kind of flicks it lightly. Busy tomorrow, are we?
No.
Yes, you
Well,
are. You're busy tomorrow.
I'm busy tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
Tomorrow is the infamous tavern crawl.
Ooh, I better practice tonight.
Yes. Well, cautiously, to say the least.
Oh, let's see. I know you don't have a cleric, so I'm leaving these with you, and I leave her like 30 of the lesser healing potions.
She gathers up this medium-sized sack full of them and satchels them across her shoulders and looks at you, gives you the biggest, wettest goblin kiss on the mouth, and then smacks you on the ass and turns around and, thank you, Gathan. That's...
I make sure my hammer is nice and stowed and not well revealed.
Yeah. Give me a deception check just to kind of
Joy.
give
Deception.
the... Yeah.
See, I rolled a 19. That's an 18.
Yeah, pretty
'cause
good, actually.
I
You
get
do a...
-1.
You make it look like a backpack for all intents and purposes. You kind of just make it look nondescript as best as you can. And Raylene kind of looks over her shoulder and winks at you, her big yellow goblin eyes. Well, I thought it would seem you're good at two things. And she disappears into her captain's quarters.
I think it's just kind of funny. No one's like batted an eye of a scorched goblin orc thingy walking up and down the gangplank.
The
Holes
Revels,
in
man. It's the Revels. I mean, you've even passed a couple alleyways on the way over here where nefarious things are going on in dark alleys. As long as people aren't killing each other, for the most part, this is the Revels for a reason. This is that great celebration before a long season of hard work.
Sweet. And then on my way back to the Black Eye, I'm going to try using my Blink necklace.
And you have to attune to, I believe, correct?
Yeah, which I was hoping to attune on the travel back
Fair
and
enough.
forth.
On your way back to the Black Eye, as you invoke it, you look at your arm and your hand, and like every few seconds, it like fades in, fades out, fades in, fades out, fades in, and fades out. As you kind of control the invocation and you kind of manage this effect, you get the feeling that people will be attacking you with disadvantage for sure.
Cool. Now, at any point in time, do I fully manifest it and wind up on the ethereal plane?
No, you do not.
Okay. So it doesn't function kind of like the blink spell.
Correct.
All right.
Omni, you watch as
Want to
Catharn.
keep it now?
Omni, you watch as Catharn returns to the Black Eye. Medi and Jin, where would you like to go? Now that you've kind of gotten some of your activities done. And Medi will say that you work out an agreement that you could send crew to pick up your material at some point.
I will go and scout the Guildmaster's headquarters.
Okay, so you head towards the center of the Revels. Medi, where are you heading off to next?
Raylene.
Okay, so you're heading back to Raylene's ship. Catharn and Omni, you're back together on the Black Eye, and mid-afternoon is giving way to late afternoon at this point. Medi and Jin have not returned yet, but Karg and the others are making good work on the main deck, ripping out old planking, replacing it with new planking, shaving off the weathered signs of wood, resealing with tars and oils to reseal everything. They're making decent progress.
Omni would like to talk to Brackish and Nala.
They're not back yet.
Oh, okay.
It's just Clark and about 10 or 15 sailors that he managed to get hired via Nala and Brackish's assistance.
Air. Cool. Yeah, we'll take a walk
Oh, that's right. You've
and-
been out
yeah.
walking. So for that part, give me investigation for when you were examining some of the other ships.
And I was also going to burn some sorcery points in order to get a second level spell back.
Okay.
And we're walking the direction of the den of thieves.
Okay.
Investigation plus 0. 12.
12. Most of the ships you're coming across, and you kind of stop short of some of the ships, and they're all in varied states of condition, but none of them nearly quite as bad as the Black Eye was when you first saw it, and it's obviously getting repaired. But you get the general sense that there's not much here of particularly fancy. These are merchant ships. These are privateers. As long as the ship functions, as long as it does what it does, then they seem relatively happy. There's sailors coming and going off these ships. There's not one that really sticks out. Some are large sloops. Some are smaller galleys. Some of them are almost, in some cases, you come across a couple ships that look like they're kind of the remnants of two ships that have become one over the years of use as well. Give me an insight. Give me a regular insight check as you're kind of taking all this in.
Okay. As I'm walking by, just if can see the names and stuff, I'll just make little notes.
Okay.
See which ones are looking crappy in their state. But also if there are any like larger ones that have weaponry, kind of clocking approximately how many gun doors and stuff like that. You said investigation or insight?
Insight.
Insight.
Yeah.
Dirty 20.
It's hard to fathom the 50 or so ships that you can see just in this one wharf district near the Den of Thieves. What the real value here is, if the Hawk owns all of these ships, well, he owns a lot of mediocrity. Nothing particularly fancy here. There's nothing here that screams high wealth and, fancy boating. There's nothing that even comes close to the Hawk's ship. Oddly enough, he's narcissistic.
Owning the ships owns the people. He's a people collector.
Kind of get that vibe. The cargo and the people have far more value than the actual ships themselves. And if the other wharfs are similar to this, I mean, there's a good 300 or 400 ships anchored at the Revels currently. This would probably be, best of your knowledge, about 3/4 of the available privateer fleet that does most of the trading up and down the Menagerie Coast. And they're all kind of linked to different guilds or lesser guilds, smaller guilds. But you get the feeling that they all kind of trust in Tharivol being, in charge, kind of managing, influencing, forcing people's hands, especially the Marquisians, since they are the greatest of the purveyors of what travels up and down the Menagerie Coast.
Marquette forever, baby.
We're also looking at the names to try and see if there's anything that sounds cool that we might be able to relate to our group to try and come up with a new name for the Black Eye as well.
There's a lot of ships named after typical sailor concepts. There's one that's called, the Flooded Wave. There's another one called the Brass Bell. There's another one called the Pearl. There's another one that's called the Oinks. There's another one that's called the Brass Ring. There's another one that's called the Weeping Eye. There's just a series of kind of mishmash of names that don't uniquely describe anything other than the world that these ships live in. I would say the Barracuda strikes you interesting. It is one of the largest of the galleys that you've seen so far. It does have 2 forward cannons, 2 aft cannons. It's a 3-tiered ship, so it has a gunner's deck. 2-masted, pretty decent shape. It looks to be heavily crewed. It's currently undergoing repairs. You get the feeling that the closer the Revels come to end, the more that the nighttime activity is the brevity of party, and the daytime activity is either the activity of getting supplies, resources, doing repair, and things like that.
Gotcha.
You even watch as a large line of about 3 or 4 individuals with carts, hand carts, go up the main galleyway onto the Barracuda. Great casks and great piles of cannonballs are being loaded onto the ship.
Okay. Heading to the Den of Thieves, we'll slip into an alley and shapeshift into a half-orc form that is rather dirty, kind of not really high up in what somebody would say status, just kind of like a deck swab.
Right.
And cloaked hood, all the goodness. And we would like to talk to some of the merchants as well as some of the people that are buying things, asking basically, where they're from or what ship they came in on, and who they think has besides the Hawk, who has the biggest, baddest ship and all that fun stuff.
Okay. Go ahead and give me an investigation roll.
Okay. Man, I'm just not good at investigation. 15.
Now give me persuasion.
Okay. I am good at that. I hope. Natural 20 plus 8.
28 on the persuasion. And now give me deception with advantage.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Before we resolve that, Jin, I'm going to retcon something because Omni's actually out and about. Gatharn, you return with the stuff you returned from Raylene's as Jin arrives to the Black Eye, and the 2 of you are actually together at the same time. That would work more into the time frame as Omni is still out. Medi, Jin, I'm sorry, you went to go investigate the Masters HQ, correct? Yeah. That's right. And did you give me investigation on that one?
Not yet.
Okay, give me that real quick. Gatharn, you make it back to the Black Eye, and I don't believe anyone else has made it back yet. You could see.
I asked.
You can
I
see.
asked Karg if he's got paint.
You might have some paint down below.
Jason, sorry we keep splitting the party so much.
No, it's fine. It's my own. I'm looking at a series of notes to remind myself, and I keep forgetting to look at them to remind myself. Do you need a particular color?
Whatever stands out against the hull.
White paint, I think, would be best, don't you?
White works. It's for me.
We have 2 containers of it. Down below, we usually use it to mark damage and where things need to be repaired. What are you going to do with it, Gatharn?
I thought of a name for the ship.
Oh, well, have fun. Jin, what'd you get for investigation?
17.
17. As you kind of just, in a very kind of like casual way, just walk about some of the minimal open space, keeping an eye on the heavy rotation of patrols. This is a heavily guarded section of the Revels. Thorvald's mercenaries and Thorvald's city guard are definitely very, no pun intended, very omnipresent about this space. They clearly are intentional in their protection of this space. Eventually, you see 3 familiar individuals, the 3 sisters, heavily cloaked and shrouded in attire, make their way past the two guards who nod at them, and they make their way onto the main garden walkway that leads up to Thorvald's residency. Other than that, it's just a series of people coming and going, the occasional captain coming and going. You can see, once again, this is another safe space where first mates have set up little wooden tables, and they are attempting to fill open positions that they have on their ships.
I'm going to find an alley, pull my hood up, and have a tankard in my hand,
Okay.
and look like I'm just wasted, but I'm keeping an eye at the guildmaster's headquarters.
Okay.
Can I do a retroactive insight check on Thorvald?
From what
when
perspective?
When he pulled out Copper Joe's flag, do I suspect that it was like a power move, or was that where he keeps the flag and he,
Oh, you don't need to roll for that. That was a power move, for sure.
So do I think that he would store his the flag in his desk in that office, or no?
Probably not.
I'll head back to the Black Eye.
Okay. Catharin, you're back at the Black Eye. You are currently painting. Jin, you make your way back to the Black Eye. Medi, what are you doing with your time?
I was heading back to the Black Eye.
Okay.
To talk to, or not Black Eye, I'm sorry.
To
I was heading
Raylene's. Yep,
to
you're
talk
on your way to
Yep.
Raylene's. You come to the ship. You make your way up the gangway, and Raylene is actually near the edge of one of the railings talking with one of the sailors. She kind of runs her fingers up the stomach of the sailor and go away, boy, go away. And then looks to see you. Ah, Medi.
She's such a boss. She's just such a player. I love her.
Medi, that's everything okay? You look peaked, dear.
Don't I always?
Yes, that was a joke. I know it's hard to tell with goblin faces. And her big ears are kind of droopy. Her eyes are very difficult to read. Her sharpened teeth just smiling at you. Is the
Yeah, all right, fair enough.
particular beverage that I shared with you is it working?
It is. That's actually what I came here to talk to you about.
Yes.
Do you have any more, or any leads on where I could find more, or
Yeah.
know how I could produce it for myself?
I've been trying to figure out the recipe myself for some time. Thorvald is clever. He knows. He's got me a bit by the hamstrings on this one. But I have enough to last me at least for a season. Thorvald, I believe, keeps some in his ship, the Blasted Oath. But I don't know how much he's got there. Never been able to. Rather large ship. It's heavily guarded. But I think I'm close to figuring this thing out. I just don't know. I'm not as good with these things as others are. I try, but can't help but want
Do
to
you think
snack
if you
from time to
had-
time. Anyway, sorry.
Do you think if you had some assistance? How close are you?
I think I know what the two base chemicals are. It's the magical enzyme that prevents the thirst. I'm not quite sure what it is.
Got it. Got it. I
Emo
was looking at it
goblin.
myself.
Emo
it's-
goblin.
Chemicals are kind of a little bit of a specialty of mine. I was looking it
Oh.
over myself, trying to figure it out.
Are they? Well,
Mm-hmm.
I have a little laboratory kit set up inside my main quarters. I mean, perhaps we could dabble, look at each other's notes, thoughts.
Yeah, just for a little bit, and then I have to meet up with the rest of the crew.
You watch, she kind of looks about. She goes, there's no nearby sailors. And she goes, Medi,
Hmm.
do you know your maker?
Unfortunately,
Don't know mine. being what we are, well, seeing what we are, dealing with it, sure. Are you ever conflicted about what you do to stay alive? You ever find yourself questioning the process?
This is another joke, right?
No, not this time. I'm curious.
I hate what I am. I'm supposed to be dead right now, as opposed to feeding off people.
Good point, but given the circumstance, you could have potentially gone many different ways with this reality. So I'm assuming you're holding on to your past, yeah?
Obviously.
What do you hope to accomplish when you find your maker?
Kill him in whatever way possible. Hopefully in the most drawn out possible way, and only after discovering or assuring myself that he hasn't made more like myself. That there aren't people out there suffering.
Well, I can assure you there are. Do you know what happens when you kill your maker?
I've not done it yet, so no.
My understanding is you undo yourself.
Seems a fair trade.
It kind of depends on the powers of the maker. Some lesser versions make lesser versions of themselves. Some make equal versions of themselves. I feel cunning, intelligent. I feel that I'm lethal in mind and limited in my physicality. Does that make sense?
Hmm.
I know this keeps me alive, but why I don't know my maker is troubling to me.
Do you feel like when you're trying to look back on it, something's blocking you?
I feel like when I was made, what I was taken away. I don't know if it's because I'm culturally a goblin. We live short lifespans, and therefore maybe we don't have the physical nature required to understand our old selves and maintain our memories when we become this. Imagine I had a family. I was a caretaker. Sure, I wasn't always this ruthless as I'm described now.
Would you be happy to find out that you weren't, or happier to find out that you always were?
You ask very bright questions. I would think if I had a memory of being a decent person before, it would give me the one thing I've never had, which is hope. It's the absence of hope that sends us down very dark places. Very dark.
Debatable.
Well, sends me, I should say. Presumptuous for me to share the we and the us. I'm sure you have your own intent, your own understanding of yourself. I understand that.
I mean, I hope to find him and, like I said, kill him in the most painful fashion possible. And whatever that does to me is whatever that does to me. Because, again, I'm supposed to be dead right now. This is a second chance. And I could just go out and eat people like Jin seems to be
Yes, you
assured that that is what I do.
You keep interesting company.
We ended up on the same ship. Some of them I would choose again. Some of them I would not.
You plan on taking them down that path with you?
This?
Well, the revenge path is littered with the corpses of many of my friends.
Oh.
I've
No.
visited where you're going, and it's costly, to say the least.
It's going to work out because people don't spend extended periods of time with me. People don't make the active choice to be around me unless they need something from me. And eventually they'll choose to not need me for anything.
Oh, my dear, you are so wonderfully broken. I understand. But when people need love, they don't logically express it. Your friends are your friends. Your friends fall in love with you for the sake of your friendship. But it may not be something you can control, dear. Not even your broken self. They find that easy to deal with.
You see, I had love once. Of a family. Platonic, obviously. And I killed it myself. So I think that if I explain that to them and what it's really like to be around me and to get close, it will probably keep them away. Nobody would actively choose something so potentially suicidal.
Have you met us?
Perhaps. I mean, look, I've been this way for a long time. I'll let you in on a little secret. I am far older than I look. I
guess.
I don't necessarily want to fix you, Medi. That's not my job. Not my responsibility. You are a grown person, and you have your thoughts and your concerns of your own. People like us live between two places forever until we're undone. And oddly enough, they think we're undone in the most stupid ways. But anyways.
Stakes, right?
Yeah, well, I like to make the joke where you carve out a steak and throw a piece of meat at me and I die.
Right.
I've been staked.
Good one.
That's always fun, especially when you bite the loins off the individual that makes the joke. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie.
I try not to do that so much. I definitely did in the beginning.
You do realize that's the fastest
very-
location for them to drain.
Well, yes, I do, but
It's practically gorging when you do that.
I don't try to kill the people that I'm feeding on.
Really?
But you know what it's like that you can't control it after a certain point.
Oh, you will learn to control it as you age.
Yeah, but how many people have to die?
Well, the bad ones always died. Always.
I don't know if they've all been bad. Some of them were children.
Children are dicks.
I tend to steer clear of such entertaining thoughts. But
You're entertained by that thought? Wait.
they are... I mean, you have to kill those ones. You cannot make a child version of yourself. The council would never forgive you for doing that.
Like what council?
Dun dun dun.
The council, dear. I'm assuming you're aware. Oh, we have...
Can't you tell by all of this that I'm clearly not?
No, I rolled a very shitty insight, dear. She looks at you and kind of grabs your hand and just very playfully, we have a lot to talk about. Shall we do it over chemicals and concoctions, and I will fill you in as...
Very nice alcohol.
Oh, you do? Or do I? Do you?
Asking you.
Oh, I have some of the best Nicodranus whiskey. I have the Port de Mali rum that will
She
send
was holding
you
out on me.
spinning, and I never share it with my lays. And, you know, they get what they get, and I get what I get, and I keep them away from the good stuff.
Might have to buy some of that off you. I suspect there might be more incredibly difficult conversations that have to happen.
Oh, my dear, if you solve this problem for me, I will be in your debt. A debt that will be difficult for me to pay off.
You can just see the light. Like,
I want to get out from underneath Thorvald's grip. This is the only way I think I could do it. He has me snared with this shit, and I want to know what it is.
I mean, I'm really starting to realize that, yeah, somebody tried to buy me the other day. But it kind of feels like we're all a slave to something anyway.
This could be true, but come inside. Let us drink. Let us talk. And we'll see how much I can help you understand about the Council of the Vampires. It's something that you need to know about.
I need to
Now-
ask you a question before we do all that.
Yes.
Sexy times?
You can tell me if it is too personal
Yeah.
and
Cool.
not answer by any means. No pressure, obviously.
Hmm.
Where's the first place you remember waking up?
Oddly enough, Nicodemus.
Okay.
The basement of a tavern called the Honey Bucket. Because it's the only memory that I can cling on to.
All right.
Melissa.
Probably not the same person, and I'm glad for that.
Well, yes, but we're supposed to have an innate understanding of the council when we come into existence. I did not. It sounds like you did not either.
I think that maybe that isn't given to things that they make for their own entertainment.
Would be true. I don't know what entertainment I could possibly provide, but shall we? The two of you head into the captain's quarters. You will spend the rest of the afternoon gaining information, learning alchemical components, and this will consume the majority of your late afternoon. Jin, Gatharn, you're back at the Black Eye. Omni, do you want to be back as well at this point?
Oh no, we had some of the roles that I did for in the den of thieves, like the persuasion and the
Yeah,
to like get all
yeah.
that information.
That's
I
going to
wasn't sure
probably
of
take
yet.
up most of your late afternoon to like.
Yeah.
As you move about, ask questions, make inquiries, and gather as much information as you can, you overhear conversations talking about how bad the previous season was. You also overhear conversations about a general disgust about the hawk. You occasionally come across individuals having conversations about the disappearance of Thorvald's brother. There is even a moment that you begin to make inquiries into one of the Thorvald guards. And within those inquiries, you discover that no contracts have been handed out yet, and that the scribe that usually handles most of the preconditioning of the contracts has not been seen at the Revels. And there's a general air throughout the individuals that you discuss, ask questions of, that things feel a little different this year. That the Marquisian influence, and more importantly, the influence lately of the new individual that sits in the high seat of the Clovis Concord, the patriarch known as Gregore Von Weis, has everybody nervous this season, as he has been making great inroads into trying to break up the guilds, sabotage them, and the Marquisian Free Navy merchant fleet is beginning to take on some of these tasks that the privateers would normally do, unless the privateers begin to pay the tax, the toll, the tithe, the bribe, the fee. They all use different words to describe it. There is even a bit of a conversation you glean from two gnomes arguing with each other that Von Weis is somehow connected with the hawk. One says no, one says yes. Hard to discern what they truly mean by that they know each other, or some say they're in cahoots, because no one could gather that much wealth so discreetly. That's some kind of wealthy patron to kind of feed them such resources. And that the main rumor mill is Thorvald has something very unique planned for the end of the Revels. Something that he feels will change the situation greatly for all the privateers and bring balance and order to the relationship with the Menagerie Coast and those Marquisian individuals that sit in the seats of power all up and down. Whether it's Port Donali or Port Zune or Nicodranus, the Dwendals, Zorhashians, and the Krins want their supplies. Clovis Concord will pay. And it'll be business as usual. He promises this. This is a kind of a central theme to what you discover as mid-afternoon turns into very late afternoon. This takes some time for you to accomplish this act. Gatharn and Jin, it's late afternoon by the time you two meet back at the ship. Karg is busy at work. Ship is actually starting to look kind of nice on the surface on the main deck.
I
But
got
it
my mask
has
on.
a new name.
Oh
I
yeah,
got my
and
mask
as you
on as I'm walking on the
yeah, you Gatharn, all work stops. You come over the railing. You're covered in white paint, splotches of it everywhere. You throw the paintbrush into a mostly empty bucket, and you watch as Jin comes up the gangway. The whole crew is like, and Karg kind of looks over at you, Gatharn, and back. Do we need to deal with this? And you watch as the lower form of Jin is wearing a gargoyle mask of hideous nature and very red, like blackened eyes. And as Jin, as you came up the gangway, go ahead and give me a perception check really quick. With disadvantage, because you are wearing a mask.
Perception?
For Jin,
12.
not you.
No, perception on Jin. So I don't know. What's
Sure,
Jin.
yeah.
11.
11,
22.
22. Jin
Wait.
looks terrifying. Jin, you would have seen
Yeah,
the new name of the ship as you were coming up. Gatharn, what's it called that you painted on the prow?
The Whispering Eye.
Not sure if anybody out in
Named
pop
after a
culture land
vagina?
understands where that was. Well, no, it wasn't the Whispering Eye in the movie. It was called the Weeping Eye in the
No,
movie.
No, it was the
Whispering
Whispering.
Eye, the
It was
movie.
the
Was it the
Whispering Eye.
Was it?
And
Oh,
role models? Yeah.
okay.
Role
Then
models?
pop culture world probably does understand that.
If you've seen the movie Role Models,
Nope.
it
Yeah, so
means vagina.
I am very well aware, Gatharn.
Medi hadn't seen Role Models.
Very popular theater presentation in Nicodranus.
I only managed to catch the puppet show. Let me tell you, the abridged version was not great.
They like pretending they're accountants.
So I take off my mask and I walk up to. You did a pretty good job, Karg. Where's Nala and old Longbrow?
They're struggling finding enough lumber to do the hull. Seems that some supply shortages going on. They're doing their
Too
best.
topical. Too topical. Oh, because out in the real world, Clark, there's also a severe lumber shortage due to this thing called COVID-19, and the lumber mill's not thinking that we need a supply and demand. So
Oh, no, it's just that most of the ships here require a great deal of retrofit. Oddly enough, Thorvald has mandated that every ship be repaired this season. Nala sent word that we will be acquiring at least one black powder hand cannon from Thorvald's armory, as he is in the process of making sure that every ship is heavily armed.
If I didn't know better, it sounds like Thorvald's planning to go to war.
I think Thorvald's
Any of the ships not ship worthy, like seaworthy, that they got just decommissioned and parted out?
a couple, I think, were, yeah.
Thinking about pulling the lumber from the decrepit ships, Gatharn?
Well, yeah. They're not going to use it. Let's use it.
I think they've already been parted for the lumber. And don't worry, Nala and Longbrow, well, they'll find it. They're good at that. If they have to squeeze a few wrists and twist a few arms, they'll get it done.
I knew I should have gone with them.
Well,
Yeah, that does sound like fun, doesn't it?
Nala promised the work would be done in 2 days, or else I get to stab him in the heart, so...
Gatharn, you notice that there's a new steel plate that hangs over Karg's bits.
Ha! Wise choice.
Yeah. Learned my lesson.
Always got to guard the privates, especially with short folk.
This is awfully awkward to be... I wonder when the other two are going to be here. It's like talking to an orc and talking to this fucker.
Oh, I did learn something very important that's happening tomorrow.
Oh, yeah? What's happening tomorrow?
Pub crawl.
You're referring to the great tavern crawl. Yes, it is tomorrow. It's usually on the third day of the Revels. The fourth day is the pit fights. I believe the fifth day is the great party revels. The sixth day is the, well, we'll have to see what he does this year. Normally,
Do I have to sign up for the pit fights?
yes, you go to the Master's HQ. There's usually a scribe on site.
He's already running.
Tears off towards.
Weapons or bare-fisted?
It's bare-fisted.
Not for me.
And the sixth day is usually the grand surprise. Usually Thorvald's offering or something he does to elevate a particular captain for the day.
Copper Penny says that he announces that we're going to war with the Clovis Concord. Huh?
I don't think that would be wise. It doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, but
The Marquisian fleet is huge. And the
grief and loss makes wise men crumble.
Oh, I don't pretend that Thorvald is a wise Firbolg, but I can assure you he would not let all of his influence melt away merely because of the haste of his brother. They weren't exactly best of buddies.
Well, then what is there to lose? You gain a copper piece if you win.
I will see you a copper and raise you a gold.
I'll raise you a gold and to a gold and a kiss. Huh?
I mean, you're pretty, but
I know I am.
I'm not exactly prone to kissing. As he smiles, you see protruding tusks, kind of like going different directions.
I can kiss each tusk. I don't mind. I'll give you 2 kisses. You don't have to give me the one.
Bargain.
Oh,
I'll take that.
on each
bargain.
horn.
I don't have horns.
My horn.
Oh, your horns. Oh, you do have horns.
Yeah.
You're kind of pretty in an odd way, aren't you?
Yeah.
Can I ask
Kind of like
Can I ask you something?
Go ahead, Clark.
You don't strike me as the seafaring type.
That's not a question. That's still a statement.
Yeah.
I'm kind of paused.
Yeah, sorry. Why the fuck are you out here? You seem a bit soft.
Well,
Seems like you would specialize in things that require softer hands, softer approaches, softer consideration. It's brute force out here. It's more physical, yes. Just trying to understand why you're a keen interest in this life.
If I was a less patient man, Clark, I would assume that you're insulting me now.
No insult. Merely pointing out that it's dangerous to be out here. Not made for everybody. I mean, you're certainly welcome to try and give it a go. But you are distinctly unique in appearance. You can't deny that.
Tell you what, Clark. I've loved, I've lost, and I've fought in wars that you won't even begin to understand. This will be the last time that you underestimate me. Have I made myself clear?
Give me an intimidation check.
Let's go, spicy boy.
27.
27. He kind of looks at you. I understand. I understand completely. Good to know that you'll be on our side then.
For the time being, as it suits my fancy.
I don't doubt that. He kind of just nods in your direction and wanders off towards the other sailors doing repair work. So, Gatharn, you're heading towards the HQ. I can't believe you guys have split the party 4 times, 18 times, all night long.
I'm so
I try to glue myself
I was like, I'm
back
just
to
gonna run out, do
Gatharn,
this
but then
and come back.
Gatharn just took off again.
Yeah,
I was like,
Gatharn, you're heading
You
towards...
mentioned pit fights.
So you're heading towards the... I know. Well, Clark, he knows his shit. Omni, anything you want to do? It's getting towards early evening at this point.
2 things.
Okay.
Want to go back to Aleem.
Okay.
And then back to Raylene's ship. After that.
Okay. Medi?
In the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, Medi, it's getting on to late afternoon. You make it back.
How much progress have we made?
Yeah, so go ahead for you and Raylene. Go ahead and give me intelligence with advantage.
Can I add my proficiency with alchemy?
Not yet. We'll see how this goes.
Dirty 20.
Okay. Go ahead and give me sleight of hand with advantage.
Dirty 20.
Now, for your performance, are you proficient in performance?
Hell no.
Okay. So go ahead and give me performance with advantage and add your proficiency modifier.
Performance, but it's like an actual tool. Okay.
Dirty 20.
Wow, that's creepy. Yeah, that's super creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh, dirty 21, because my proficiency is 3. Anyway.
Correct. So during the first hour, it's casual conversation and working on trying to figure out this enzyme. She describes the base element of the concoction as including kind of like an effervescent extraction from a lotus flower. It's almost like it's an extraction of its nectar brought into a carbonated state that's used as a binder. She's figured out that much. She's also figured out that the reactant, the enzyme, but the reactant that fuses the enzyme to the base is kind of almost like it's an alcoholic base, but it's highly alcoholic, like it's 100 proof purity, and it's used to kind of react with the lotus extract, and then it helps the enzyme flourish. However, with those rolls, you begin to spend quite a bit of time like pulling these infusions apart and looking at the different reactions, and you kind of, she's got little tiny containers of all sorts of stuff, and you're inspired to kind of reach over and pull a very small bit of magnesium powder that she's grounded down very fine, a bit of black powder, and then a bit of like little like lamp oil that she has. So you begin to kind of mix that together. And as you do, it dries out. You put it in a cheesecloth and you wring it. A very small amount of that tacky, waxy glycerin kind of comes out. You mix it with the two bases that she's discovered. And then you're really inspired and you prick the tip of your finger and put a drop of blood into that mixture. And you watch as all of it comes together and begins to kind of like boil and roil on its own. And you watch as Raylene looks at you and she pulls the flask out from down below, pours it into a transparent ceramic beaker, and it looks almost identical to what the two of you just made in this bowl. She looks over at you and she goes, "Shit, you know what this means?"
So what?
He's got someone like us. There's someone like us that he extracted their blood and made this, manufactured this.
Yeah, I was just hoping that you wouldn't say it aloud, but you...
Well, we're in my quarters. It's quite okay.
Debatable.
She looks around. You watch she grabs onto a necklace around her neck. No one's scrying on us, dear. We're fine.
Well, that's really interesting that you can do that, and good to know. You can do that often. B,
I assure you it's a sign of trust, dear. Sign of trust.
who... Boy. That's not good. That's probably not good, right? It's real bad, right?
Well, either he's holding someone against their will for this extraction. He's smart enough to know it keeps me in check by making this concoction. What else is in the basement of that place? Beginning to wonder about Thorvald.
Just beginning now? Or...
Well, like all eccentrics, they have their predictability.
Possible slaves, literate people like us?
I hope not. By the gods, I hope not. That's not something they tolerate
I really
here.
hope that it isn't, I don't know if it's better or worse for them to be willing.
Yeah. I'm not really sure either. You guys then spend the rest of the day, and she begins to fill you in on the Vampire Council. But before we get to that point, Gatharn, as you race towards the headquarters, you stop short. You look at the main gate with two guards on either side. There are 3 elven sisters standing there. Well, what do we have here, sister? I don't
Turn around,
know.
missy step, and run the other way.
They don't even get the monologue. You turn and run, and that's where we're going to end tonight. I had like a whole tension monologue lined up.
20 more minutes. 20 more minutes, Jason.
No, it's almost 9 and my voice is almost gone again. I'll be glad when this hot, cold weather stops. It's
We didn't
killing
even finish
me.
the day. We didn't finish the day.
You guys are killing me, man. Killing me with all your errands. All your
next session, we're fucking
intrigue.
sticking together. We're gluing each other cheek to cheek to cheek, and it's just gonna be a square.
I personally,
Okay.
I like it. I think it's fun, but you guys do you. You guys do you, as they say. Well, hey, everybody. Thank you for coming out. Sunday night's the end of the week. Means Monday, you got to get... Oh, wait a minute. What's Monday, everybody?
Labor Day.
Labor Day. I encourage everybody out there to do some
labor away.
research on how Labor Day came about. I think you'll find it a very interesting story. I think you'll find it a very interesting potential plot you'll use in your games and your home brew. It's kind of fun to learn about how Labor Day came about. But hey, it's Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have fun. Enjoy your day off tomorrow. We will be here tomorrow with Faerun Reborn as the siege of Wist hopefully will conclude, and it will be very interesting to see how it concludes. But you can also join us Tuesday night for Denizens, Wednesday for Descendants, or hey, Friday for Age of Arcanum, or Sunday back here again for Debtors Gambit. And always come on over to our Discord, roll for free dice, roll for free minis, hang out, have a chat. If you can afford it, sub. We could use the help. All of this goes back into the content that we try to bring you. And other than that, as I always say, stay safe.
Wait.
Yes.
Remind people what's Sunday.
Oh, next Sunday will be a special one-shot of Greyhawk. And Vince, are we calling it? What are we calling it?
The Priestess, the Bastard, and the Ivory Tower.
Ooh, I love it. So we'll have a new overlay. We'll be live in studio. And are we thinking noon, 12 to 3? Is that a good time that we're thinking?
12 to whenever.
Or, well,
The party time.
there will be massive amounts of food and bevies for everybody. It will be a mix of brunch, lunch, and, deeply weeping and crying over our dead characters because, Vince has a tendency.
We'll live.
Vince has a tendency.
Kelowna, we'll live. Yeah.
Well, I'm already sure
Mona
I'm gonna
dying.
die. I'm
For
like
sure.
I'm like a one-off character. It's like I'm
Chav
wearing a
Chav is
red
like
shirt.
12.
I have no emotional tethers to this.
Chav is like
storyline.
12
I'm
to
just there
12,
for the
12
beer
to
and
12.
food.
Yeah, like my dude, he comes in wearing a red shirt. It's just
Yeah. But it will be live in studio, which will be really fun. We have not done a live game together, I think, since...
The beginning of the year.
Yeah,
Four
it's been a
times.
long... Pre-Delta, post-Alpha, when things we thought were getting under control. But,
When we thought everybody would get their vaccines.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
tentatively scale it for a 4 or 5 hour session because I do know that both Vince and Shannon have a bit of a drive back into the LA region. But fortunately, it'll be on a Sunday and hopefully won't be too bad for everybody. But we want to have fun. We miss each other. And I believe, Vince, you're bringing a fifth?
Yes.
a vodka.
No, a fifth
That's
person.
what I said.
Yeah, that's true.
You guys need
Cesare was in the studio today helping dial in camera activity, get the GoPro
Yes.
camera up and running for the battle cam. And obviously I will be working on scenes and stuff for Jen. Obviously, Jen, if you have any artwork you want to send me, feel free. Otherwise, I'm going to dip into my own resources and put something together for you. It's totally up to you.
I believe in you.
Okay, so I'm free to do that. I'll start working on that tomorrow. Omni already helped me do some rearranging of one of the scenes, so we already have a pretty decent layout that we want to go with. The cameras seem to be great. The last time we tested in studio, I know that Brandon wasn't available, but we did a board game day on a Sunday, and the audio sounded pretty good. It was pretty decently dialed in, so we'll have everything set up. And yes, next Sunday, at least we'll start by noon. We'll probably eat, relax, and prep from 11 to noon. That'll give both Shannon and Vince plenty of time to make their way out to our location, studio location. And we could finally have a nice, fun live session with everybody, which will be really cool. So
Fun for me.
yeah, I'm super excited about being a player. I know I haven't worked on some of my stuff that I owe you, but I will get that done Monday for sure because I will have time.
Oh, don't worry. The other clowns didn't either. So.
Okay.
I did.
I'm pretty sure
and
Shannon did.
you said that it was okay.
I wasn't aware
I
I,
didn't
needed
get anything
to.
in writing. I didn't get anything in writing. So
I gave you my want and my need. That was it. And it was verbal.
So
I
on that
needed it
note,
writing because I have ADHD and I don't remember things.
Same, buddy.
on that note, everybody,
Hey.
please stay safe out there. Be kind. Play a game. It's fun. I promise you. Can't play one. Watch one. It's fun too. So, good night, everybody. Thank you for coming out. We'll talk to y'all later. Bye-bye.
Bye.